What's up, everybody? Nick Blazer here, ready with some more backgammon from Gibraltar for you. Today we've got Julian Minwalla playing against, let's look at the names on here, Vincent and Nardi. Okay, hop back and forth there. Right. I have to actually switch my commentary stream too. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're about to get started here in just a couple minutes. So if you go check the description on the chat and everything like that, you can see brackets and all those things. You can get contact information for myself and RainBG and all these things. If you notice here on the actual like commentary layout, we have the nice Gibraltar board to match the board that they're playing on today. So yeah, that was provided by Rain, which is really cool. So I'm excited to have that for you. We're going to get the layout switched here too. Let me go to board here and set it to red on top and white on bottom. Okay. Yeah. There we go. We match now. But yeah, they should be getting started in just a couple minutes here. But I figured I'd talk a little bit about the tournament and everything like that and keep an eye while we're going. I brought up, let me see if we can look at the brackets together here. That'll be cool. Let me bring that browser up real quick. So yeah, all the links are in the description for that. But where we are in this particular match, I think is up near the top here somewhere. Yeah. So it's not posted on here, the results, but we're in round 4 of the tournament. And so Nardi just made it through round 3 here to move on, and Minwalla over here against another French player. So you can check those all out. This is like the main bracket, and then we have all the second chance brackets battling through with people who lost yesterday, things like that. So you can keep up on the action really well there. Yeah. So follow along at home for sure the whole time. What else do we have going on here? I think that's about it. Huge thanks to Arda and the Gibraltar team for bringing me into this, of course. And yeah, please do hop over to my YouTube channel and check that out if you're interested in things I do. I've got all kinds of videos, as you saw in the ad there, but the subscriptions are going up, and it's really helpful for doing things with the channel. So I appreciate that. Hoping to get out to more people with that. But yeah, we should be ready with more backgammon quite shortly here. Let me see. Oh, I've got to make sure I have my my YouTube chat visible somewhere too, so you guys can chat with me. I'm paying attention to that all the time as we get going. So looks like people are probably like funnel in as the ads go and the backgammon starts. Not too many people with us yet, but yeah, we're gonna get going live real soon here. This is round 4 of the match too. I posted the tentative schedule, 13-point match as well. But I posted everything, all the information on my Facebook page as well. So you can see when we're scheduling the stream again. We're gonna go again at 1:30 U.S. Central Time, which is like 20:30. I mean, we'll start the stream a little bit before then. That'll be the next round of the main stuff, and then tomorrow the undefeated finals will be at 6 a.m. U.S. Central Time, and I think that's 1300 Gibraltar time. So yeah, we'll be kicking off with that, and then Saturday evening will be the second chance finals, and then Sunday morning will be the finals of the entire tournament. So we'll get going with that soon. Cool. And it looks like we're off here with some backgammon. So yeah, let's get started. Cool. We got Mate rocking around the back there and Gaz too. There we go. 3-1 to open. Standard making the 5-point, of course. And a 2-1 response. We like to split to challenge that midpoint. Don't want to be slotting against a better board. All these kinds of things. So standard stuff for the opening. And we have a 3-3 follow-up. This is likely to, I guess, wow, we have 3 things we want to do. We want to make another board point. We want to unstack. We want to advance the anchor. Making the 7 looks pretty strong, but it's hard to be in a priming game when you're ahead in the race. So it feels like we should do something else with the back checkers. Maybe, wow, he's got the right idea, though. That's a nice play. I would have trouble finding that one. So many options. 3s for Julian should be maybe not a whole lot easier, I guess. We can make the 5 and step up as the first thing that jumps out. That doesn't unstack, though, but I really want to be at the edge of the prime, so I struggle to not use the 24 to 21, but here I am with the wrong idea again, and the player's just finding these correct instincts over the board instead. This is really interesting stuff. Tough opening already. Got pretty close ideas of that. Of course, we have less pressure to unstack after having played down in the opening with the 4 checkers on the midpoint, so that 13 to 10 is less important. Yeah, Vincent can just continue by making the 5 prime. Very nice shot for him. And 4s is going to do something, right? No, it's not really constructive at all, is it? I guess it's going to take 2 checkers off the midpoint. I think he's going to be under cube pressure after this, just losing it to a priming battle in pretty much all the ways. When that is the case, it often makes sense to slot just so that you can catch back up in that battle, and you're already down. So when you get hit, you're not worried too much. So maybe he's going to find 8-4 with this somehow. 11-7 with it as well would be pretty wild. That seems very loose, but maybe he just cleans up as well. This seems like the natural play for sure, but either way, I feel like he's going to have trouble taking a cube after this. Yeah, and we can see the feedback from XG is just like you're going to pass anyway. So it doesn't matter too much, but we don't know that over the board. We spend some time looking for the best of it and try to figure out, is there anything after which I would play this? But I expect that players are going to find this action after the play as well. Looks like a pretty comfortable double, and maybe the pass is a little harder, but I think after he looks at all these resulting positions, he's not going to like it. Sometimes when we put this much effort into finding the best play, we convince ourselves that we should play it out after working that hard on it too. So hopefully Julian doesn't fall trapped to that. Yeah, I'm curious after. It'd be fun to pull this up with an already turned cube to see how big of a difference there is between these plays. They all seem like they run pretty close on the gammon win numbers too. So I don't think, even if he takes the cube, that there's a big opportunity for a mistake here. I think all the plays are not great and run pretty close. But okay, so he ends up going with the unstack and play to the 3. And here comes the cube as anticipated, and we'll see if he wants to play it. Hopefully he's decided by now, but it's not that far off from a take either. So I wonder if that's even closer on the after the best play. Okay, plus likes to pass a little bit more. But in this one, it just seems like our opponent, okay, he's going to take it and play this out. These are difficult to evaluate with any sort of certainty, so I can understand that for sure. But it does look like our opponent just has a very strong priming game plan that we're not countering well at all. And so it's hard to find our counterplay here. We're hoping to, I don't know, a 2-1 up to the edge of the prime, and then we're not even doing that well. Seems like a long and challenging road in this one, even when our opponent gives up the midpoint or something like that. And we're out-timed even with the worst prime too. So 6-5, huge shot to escape a back checker. Maybe that will open up the door for Julian to change to an attacking plan. But yeah, still looking tough for him. 3-2-2 must have to step up to the edge, I think. And then I guess my best 3 with it would be to 9-6, but this isn't a priming game plan, one of those major themes that we just have to be at the edge with the opportunity to escape. No way around that. Yeah, interesting that it is a reasonably close option to hit instead, but thematically, it just seems like the way to escape the prime is to be at the edge of it and have that opportunity. 5-4. 5-4 can point on the edge and start turning into an attack. The other play looks pretty stiff to put another checker on the edge, but it leaves a lot of returns with equal boards, all these things. This one's hard. I think we just have to make the point, but we really don't like giving up the 5' for a 4' instead, especially with how many numbers this gives from the roof. 1, 6, 1, 5, 2, 6, 2, 5, all are going to hit. Yeah, it's tricky. But the alternative just looks so weak that I think we have to do it. Yeah, okay. I expect he'll find this for just like not feeling able to put after this 5-4, 13-4. Just, I don't know. What are we going to do to follow up on this, If our opponent doesn't run with the 6, we're still just looking to break our midpoint, not really having any building potential. So this is a strange one for sure, though. I understand why he's pausing to think hard about it. It doesn't feel right to give up the 5' here when you have a checker not at the edge of it. But we can see we win a little bit more with it because of the structural liabilities. We win a ton more gammons. So this is a moment that comes up in these priming games quite often, where at some point we have enough material in the zone where if we get the opportunity, we like to change to the attack. And we can see for the lack of timing that this seems to be the spot. Yeah, okay, he finds the best play there. Well done, well played. And 2-5 is going to hit from the roof. Beautiful shot for Julian, and his take looks like it's going to pay off. I think he's going to come out and hit. He has to escape the prime, has to send another checker back, all these things. That looks very strong. 1-4 is going to anchor up, and what else can it do? It gives him, so he's not dead yet, but I think Julian with the advantage in this game now. It doesn't feel like after, I mean, if he rolls a 5 to escape, it still seems like he has work to do to bring this home. So I'm not sure I see the market loss to send the cube yet, but yeah, pretty clear favorite on 3 play anyway. 3-1 does nothing though. This is a real whiff. I guess maybe we want to duplicate the 6s that could hop out and leave the checker on the 18 point. Another idea would be to play 18 to 14 and duplicate 2s. Both of these seem reasonable. And then if we leave the checker alone, though, we can play 9 to 5, which maybe makes our distribution better for attacking later, less blots. So maybe I favor that. But look at this. The 2 duplication seems to be stronger. Okay, nice find. 2-6. I think this is going to hit and come out. I think this is one of those scenarios where you just have to go for it all. Oh, we can, of course. It duplicates the 6-2 as well. That hits on the 9 point. I didn't realize that. Okay. That's an interesting one. But yeah, I think we want to get running and have an opportunity to escape the structure in prime. So I like this play quite a bit. And 1-5. This is going to, oh, it gets to return fire. Okay. So a little bit of life for Julian. He was in big trouble after being hit, and like the swings in this game are just wild so far. I think required to go for the tempo again, and we're just both smacking away, doing our best. And if Julian can hit this shot, then I think he's a pretty clear favorite again, and he does with the 2-6. Okay. Oh, he misses. Sorry. He comes in on the anchoring point. Can he afford to run out, or does he just clean up and wait? Yeah. Okay. Guess he's not feeling under pressure to run quite yet. 5-2. Yeah, we're gonna find out what Vincent is gonna be able to do with his roll. 5-2 is going to run a back checker. Yeah, the other option would be to reduce a bunch of timing by playing 13 to 6. I think this seems quite reasonable. Challenge is stripped midpoint, but oh, look at this. We should go for 13 to 6 because we open up too much attacking game plan. Those are tricky decisions there. I think he's going to feel happy about his play after this. I guess he was getting shots no matter what. But yeah, what is... I guess we're just all in on this. The 5 hit seems fairly clear. And then does the 6 come out or come down and try to close out? Maybe it's not so scary to give up our anchor here. So yeah, we're supposed to go for it all. Of course, we can get into trouble there, but our opponent still has a blot back on the 24 points. And, you know, there's a lot of different ways this can go after we hit loose and hop out. We can win the game in one roll there. We can lose it in one roll too, which is probably why he tended away from it. But okay, Vincent doing great from the roof again. I think we're going to play with fewer blots instead of spreading out to pick up more checkers. I like that decision. And a 3-2. This is going to enter, of course, and then what can the 3 do? Clean up some shot. I guess, would we prefer not to be hit with tempo when we're hit? Or, I don't know if we should clean up 7 to 4 or play 13 to 10. That one's tough. I think I would end up cleaning up 7 to 4. I don't have a strong reason for it, though. It feels like, I guess the 6s are bad anyway. And so we really want our opponent to get stuck back there and be ready to contain. And we'd like to make the bar point. Okay. That's a fine reason for playing down 13 to 10 is to leave it slotted should we get so lucky. Awesome. People starting to trickle into the match. Welcome, everybody. Seems to be finding this follow-up concept. I presume that's what he's looking at. Like, I mean, again, I think he's just looking for a reason to choose 1-3 over the other. And it wasn't super clear to me immediately until I kind of thought about the differences between the plays. So he's going to take some time and think about, you know, what do I care the most about? Like certain numbers? Is there duplication? How's the follow-up after I missed? And if he can get to that, how's the follow-up after I missed, I think he'll find this 13 to 10 play. We have to recognize that the plan could still be to prime that back checker and not necessarily just attack it. And I guess we keep our attacking value actually by staying there too. Okay, so small little difference between those plays, but that would have been my initial instinct as well. Oh, beautiful shot for Vincent. Out and takes away the outfield presence, and Julian in a bunch of gammon pressure now. 2-3 is going to enter at the edge, miss the blot on the ace. and has to send a checker to the ace too. He's going to need 6s and 5s to keep his checkers moving quickly here before his board deteriorates. At least Vincent cannot make the 8 or 7 point on this roll, so that's not the worst follow-up for him. And he's going to make sure that there's just no fly shots with the good board. I think this seems quite reasonable. 4-1 cannot escape a checker yet, so he's going to be stuck with something like 5-1, I think. And then the ace 3-2 looks good with it too. But I guess 6-2 could be fine as well. Either way, no checkers buried yet, but we're at risk for sure. Yeah, my first instinct, I didn't realize that he could play the 3-2 first. I like the order that he's doing that because it gives him an option with the 4. And I think he found the better 4 as a result. 5-3. Yeah, okay, can just clean all the blots up. That seems like a nice roll for him. Julian dying for a 6 or a 5, and he finds one. Okay, I think he's just going to continue on too. And it's much better to preserve all your checkers live than to worry about getting stuck on the bar and losing gammons, especially when you have 4 back anyway, I think. So I think he needs to just run here. But I presume that's what he's worried about. On an ace or a deuce, Vincent might have an easier time clearing this 13 and 14 point, or the 12 and 11 from his perspective, and might lose more gammons that way. So scared to give that up, understandably. 2's going to hit, and then the 6 can come in from the rear now, because there's no 2's reach from the bar anyway. So we just got to find our best distribution one. Either the 12 or the 11 seems natural to me. 12 to 6, yeah, why not? Clear the furthest point. Gets a fan out of Julian, which is going to increase the gammons, but it's going to help him preserve his timing for turnaround shots. So good and bad with that roll. Aces doesn't make a whole lot of progress. No need to stack up the 6 point by playing 10 to 6, even though it gets closer to bear off. We want a smoother distribution than that. So I think he can just spread out in the outfield with his opponent still on the bar and try to maximize opportunity of bringing into like diverse points. 2-4 is going to enter, and now a checker's dead for sure. Maybe we should just play 6-2, just in case our opponent makes the bar point and we run out of 5s or something, but he's going to play to the ace instead. Okay. 4-3. Here's the exact scenario. So now I think it's nice to force our opponent to play a 5, 6-1, and so making the bar point seems good. 6-1 and 6-2 aren't so scary with 2 blots on board. 4-3 is going to bury some more checkers. Tough roll for Julian. Really needed a 6 in short order. I think, yeah, maybe you could reinforce the 3, but this seemed like the natural thing to do to stack him up on the deuce. 3s is tricky. What do we do with it? We're not going to end up with the distribution we wanted. We're kind of stacked up on the 6 and the 4 regardless. Is it an opportunity to clear the bar point, or should we just wait while we're priming our opponent? Where does it go if we play them all from outside? 10-4 and 9-3? That seems fine. Maybe I would keep the prime for one more roll and just not give my opponent an opportunity to roll a 5. But we should clear the bar. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is probably the play that I would reason myself into as well. The distribution looks good. But Julian with a nice dice roll that time to escape. 6s are going to leave a shot. Okay, here's part of the problem with that roll potentially. And so first chance for Julian, but it's going to be, even after this 4, it's going to be a lot of work to win the game, but it should save a lot of gammons at least. So nice start for him anyway. Yeah, the containment checker on the 13 looks well placed, so just continuing on to the 16 looks pretty good. 3-1 is going to fan. If he gets to a closeout somehow, which is still technically possible for Julian, then he'll have a pass by a mile. So he's going to have to send the cube in, I don't know, probably going to have to pay attention to the race here, actually, to figure out when to retime this. But it's unlikely that he's going to get that deep into the game or something. And I think he's going to get some other sort of, if he's so lucky to keep, like, this checker in trouble, I think he's going to have to find, like, timing the cube is going to be very difficult. I like this decision to play a 3 behind instead of stepping out into the double shot, of course, too. 2s. This cannot hit. So we want to make some sort of containing point, probably. To me, it looks nice to make the 11, keep the 17 point blot, and just play 3-1 with it. This seems like the most interaction that we can find with these checkers. So, yeah, this was my instinct too, but 17-11, 13-11 is a little better. Weird. Okay. We don't want to spend the deuce 3 to ace. Is this bad enough for the racing distribution? No, it comes out a little bit better on plus plus. Okay. And really the thing with it is that it just saves gammons to not come into range. Okay. But we would win a little bit more by advancing. Very strange one. These can get very technical, of course. We can see, you know, the only way to make a big mistake would be to like clear a board point that you had already here. They are going to run pretty close. But we're trying to balance not giving up shots that will help our opponent get home against a 4-point board, with staying as far back to make sure that our opponent can't run past us. And so this just thematically makes a lot of sense to me here too. 5-3 is going to make some progress and leave just the 3s and a 5-4 to hit. 2-1, 5-4, and 3s, so and a 1-1. Okay, he's going to do it the easy way. With the direct and the 4, I think the checker on the 14 is well placed when we enter with the 5 or a 6, so I think I would move it from 23 to 19 as well. I like that decision. And 4-2 can't enter. Okay. Julian making some big progress here. 5-3. Interesting. We can't do much about our distribution. So is the 14 to 9 worth it? Or do we just play something like 19 to 11 and hope for the best? 14 to 9 will give up 6-3 and 5-4. We saved a lot of gammons already. What do we gain by doing it? I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe I would just play it simple to the 11. Seems like a bit much to give up those shots when you're not really clear on what the gain's going to be. And he goes for this variant instead. Yeah, just to find more diversification. Understandable why it feels like stiff and stacky to place the checker on the 11. 3-1. What can this do now? So this one, I think we love 16 to 13. And then the ace is less clear. Maybe 2 to 1 is fine. I don't think we change shots almost at all by playing 9 to 8 either. So that could be okay. But we do give up a 6-6 that gets hit. But maybe we want to be hit on this 6-6. So this could be fine too, just to increase contact should he roll something so lucky. Oh, this is getting interesting. If he can make a board point, he's getting into interesting territory here. And 5-5 is going to move along on that plan quite quickly. Okay. I think just like the natural play of 12-7, 9-4 seems standard here. But, oh, we should go 12-2 to, I guess, what is this doing? Must improve some sort of set or something like this. But, yeah, this is the play I would find, too. I'm not sure. 6-5. Ah, does it give us 6-5 back? No, it doesn't. I'm not sure why this is better. That's very interesting to me. Okay, 6-2 fans, and now where are we? This is looking pretty good for Julian. His opponent has 2 checkers off, but he's going to need more than 2 checkers worth of rolls to get around and catch back up. So I think he must be a big favorite. Yeah, we're into double and clear pass territory. So he skated past our market pretty quickly with this 5-5. That was a pretty monster improvement going from a no double to a big double and pass. But okay, so he takes a little deep on this game, but is able to turn that around and leverage that opportunity to win 2 points back here instead of giving up 1. So good start for him. Vincent correctly letting this one go. All right, 11 away, 13 away to start this match off. And a 2-4 to open for the leader, so not a lot of score adjustment going to happen this early in the match. Still a long way to go to home, but if we get into some interesting recube spots, maybe going to an 8 cube would be enough to start to change things significantly. But before that, not too much. All right, Vincent establishes the rack quite quickly and early, and Julian could, but yeah, unstacking to make the 3 and keep the bar seems a little bit stronger. So nice close game and developing really quickly again, similar to last game. And okay, down in the race, I'm not sure he's under so much pressure to split, but that's what his position wants to do. Yeah, he is under priming threat with the bar point closed. I think I like that play. 6-3 is going to hit loose and fight for the priming potential still. Big swing on this roll here. 2-5 is going to enter and can make the 8. So not the worst, but it doesn't hit, and so he's under a lot of priming threat. But I'm not sure Julian has enough yet with not having done anything with his back checkers. 6-4 could attempt to run and duplicate 2s. I don't see any attacking plan otherwise, and we're leaving a... He's in command of the position, it feels like, for sure. So let's see what Vincent's going to do with the follow-up here. He's going to have to think about the cube, he thinks. Okay, and I mean, maybe at a significantly trailing match score, we'd think about it more, but I don't see a ton of volatility here. He's going to switch to the tempo hit to try to buy time to pick up blots. I like this idea. 2 down, just a little too passive. A6 is going to hit, but the 6 not so comfortable. Does it come down to get material in the zone and covers, or should it come out and try to escape? I think I favor the 14-8 to get interacted on the offensive side here. 13-7 instead. Interesting. I'm not sure why. I guess there's some duplication components or something like this. Do we... Yeah, we duplicate entering 2s, and we don't give our opponent a 6 from the bar is probably a big piece of it. Okay, okay. Wow, this is a nice find. There's good tactics in this one, I think. I would have trouble finding this play. Five, 4 is finally going to hit on the high points. Okay, we've resolved that battle more or less. And the 5, we could play down and keep it kind of safe. But playing out feels nice to preserve kind of timing and fluidity of the position too. I guess we like having our foot down on the 21 to advance, so maybe I'd lean towards 13-8. This is a little bit tricky. 9-4 is an option, just cleaning up the blot. Okay. And what does he go? Yeah, he does go for 9-4. Okay. Yeah, that seems fine. Just being patient and hoping to get a cube in soon. 2-4 can enter, and then I don't think he's under enough pressure to have to go for a tempo hit, but nothing else really does a lot and is going to leave shots anyway. So maybe this could be a lack of options kind of idea. Yeah, okay. I don't mind it. 14-10 leaves the direct 6 otherwise, so nice find. 2-6 is going to hit anyway. And then I guess just continue from the rear there. Why not hop over this structure? I like that play. We've got a 2-4. Okay. Man, these have been like bloody games so far. Lots of back and forth hitting and all kinds of crazy priming battles. The 2's going to enter and establish an anchor to give him a little bit of safety. Doesn't mean the cube's not coming with this double shot. And I don't see anything other than 14-10 here. Yeah. And now 3 checkers back for each, but yeah, Vincent with massive initiative in this position is going to send it. You can see still 33% of these games can be won by Julian, but there's some gammon threat and such. So good time to send it there. 6-3. Uh-oh. I hope I'm still recording here, but I seem to have lost my internet connection for a moment. It'll pick up. Hopefully the delay will help me catch up here too. What's going on here? Seems like I have internet access. Did Mate do something with the OBS maybe? Ooh, I'm reconnected. Okay. So I should be sending still. Delay a little bit bigger. I don't know exactly how that does. Hopefully you guys don't have a big hiccup in the action. But okay, the 6-3 is going to hit and do what with the 3? Oh, step up. I got it. Okay. And 3-6 for Julian here. Sorry if it gets a little bit choppy there. I'm not sure what that'll look like on the stream, but I'm having some connection things go on here. 3 is going to come up and then step out. Seems like a reasonable play. 4-5. What can this do? It doesn't reach the blot that was left. So I think maybe we can establish an anchor in the 17 and just play 15-10. Looks like a nice positional move here. 13-8 a little bit better. Oh yeah, because we can force our opponent to break the midpoint and move a checker they don't want to move. So it's better placed there. Okay. Yeah, nice find by Vincent. Good instincts about this position for sure. And a 2-5. What is this going to do? It can advance to the bar points. I think that's the idea here. We want to not be primed, and we don't have the timing to sit back on the 23 with all these checkers. So this is a beautiful bridge here. And then what other deuce after that? 7 to 5. I think that's going to be the play. Nice find there. 4-1. We're going to leave shots no matter what. Do we want to go for some sort of attack here? We're way ahead in the race, so we'd rather play quiet if we could. I guess we could challenge our opponent to break the anchor, but there's a lot of indirects that'll hit on the 10 as well. So not so clear. Maybe we could come around and hit as well. Our opponent's board isn't better anyway. I kind of like the attacking option. I don't see a big reason not to. But we can see the plays run really close. Has a lot to do with wins versus gammons. 6-6 is not going to hit here, but it can get the checker on the 22 moving. So I think that's probably the best of it. In a very close race, we need to not get stuck behind this structure and attacked. So I think 22 to 4 is a big piece of this move for sure. And then, yeah, I mean, what other 6 after that than 7 days? That seems quite all right. What, yeah, this seems pretty natural. I guess we could think about leaving parking on the 10 and, like, making the ace or stacking up the 7, but I just don't see it. I don't see the gain in that. So I guess he needs to count the race to see if he's close enough to do this, or if he should do something like just 13 to ace and keep the contact. But if he sees that he's pretty close, I think he's going to realize that he needs to get that back checker moving. Probably just needs that feedback of the pip count, which we get to see on the board quite easily, that it's 26 before the roll. And so, yeah, we know that after 26 minus 24, just 2 is going to be good find by him. Okay. We're going to move on to a 5-2 for white. This can just improve our distribution and clean up. Yeah, why not 8 to 6 with it? He could hit loose to try to prevent the escape. I guess with blots and board, yeah, actually it is a good time to go for the hit. I'm fine with that too. But our opponent's pretty strippy and not necessarily going to be able to play their roles well next roll. So kind of letting him play can work too. I mean, we're sad when our opponent rolls a 5 or something that escapes and links up with the blot. You know, and if we get hit, we do have this like counter. But a lot of times when we get hit, our opponent will be able to cover up 1 or 2 of these blots somehow with the other side of the entering number. 1s, 3s, 4s, and 6s all will cover something along with the entering number if available. So he sees the 5 cleans up for sure and just has to figure out that deuce. And they run extremely close, as we can see. We go for the gammon idea by hitting and win slightly more games by playing quiet. 3-5 is going to enter, and then the 5, I guess, is just stuck playing 7 to 2. What else do we have here? And he's under a little more attack threat even now. So Vincent looking to follow up on his loose hit, I think. Interesting. I'm not sure why 6 to 1. I guess saving a 6 is an idea, but we have one right now. I mean, that could change. Double 6s. I don't think this is going to continue the attack in any relevant way, but it's going to get a lot closer to safety. Probably he just has to continue into the 5 instead of covering just to avoid leaving a shot. And with a big racing lead, we're back to the preference being the bar point holding game idea and just winning a race against it and clearing quietly. Wow, we should volunteer a 4 out there with all the blots on board. Okay. Forgot about that. Yeah. So easy to overlook what's going on the other side of the board. Julian has an opportunity to just shift around and do something like 6 days, 5 to 2 here, but he's going to give up the mid instead. Okay, yeah, keep the points pure. He could have some sort of board. Oh, this is going to fix a lot of problems for Vincent. Just going to happily clear the 9 point, I think, to the 5, even though it makes a mega stack there. Feels better than not clearing the point. But look at this. We should play 5 to... Wow. And that's really big, too. The 7 stack is that bad. Okay. So I guess he keeps a lot of attacking threat alive by making the ace point and deploying those checkers efficiently. Probably a lot more gammons than that. Okay, okay. I'm just thinking about race purely. But he does still have this play for more option. And he loses that if he stacks up too aggressively. This looks like an idea with better distribution as well, but I guess why not make the ace if we're going to not clear the point? Might as well have a better point. But the 13 to 9 with 2 to get closer to home seems sure. Yeah, he's going to find it. Nice play there. Both of them seem to have a very strong feel for the game. I'm not sure I've seen either play before. 6 something. I can't quite make out what the glary die is there. We'll find out from what he tries to play here, I guess. There's the 6. 6-4. Okay, there we go. So I think the race is really weak, so he doesn't wants to stay back for contact. But I'm not sure it's helping him enough, and it might just be losing gammon. So my instinct is to come up 22 to 18, but that's the difference there. Do we stay back and win more games? We can see we win almost 16% when we stay back there, but we give up so many more gammons and lose almost none when we step up. So he's balancing these two plans and finds the best of it, realizes the gammon threat is more real than his chance of winning with the contact. And yeah, I don't think this one would have... Oh, this could have... I'm not sure exactly what this would have done here. But yeah, Vincent would have had an interesting decision for sure about what to do with that blot on the 3. Could have attacked it if he wanted. 4-4 is going to gain some ground in the race, but not enough. I don't see a reason to give up the contact when he can just play 18 to 6 and 6-4 or 8-4 or something like this. And just stay for a 6-1, something like this, right? Why not? He hasn't turned the race around enough. So when he's still down 21, I think it makes sense to stay for the contact, not giving up anything on the other side. Can make our opponents bear in a little less efficient. 2-1 would have played nicer if we gave up the contact entirely, for example. This, I think, just going to shuffle around from the 5. That seems fine. Shifting to the 2 can't be too bad either. 4-2, probably going to complete the full board. No need to run yet, just in case you get that 6-1. And he should run. That's so interesting. I don't know what changed between the two rolls. Maybe I need to look at it on ++. But I guess he could crack and things like that, or roll aces that are destructive now. 2-1, not so bad though. And can just go 6-4. And 3-2 finally clears. And we'll see if Julian can find some big sets to get back in this game. I think a set of 6s will even it out, but won't even get him the lead quite yet. 3-2 taking 2 off. Okay, okay. 4-3 is going to get a perfect crossover and advance 18 to 15. Looks nice. 3-6, 2 off again. Okay, and looking like Vincent very likely to even out the match score at 11 away after this game. 6-2, maybe 6-4 could be better for distribution, but probably fine to just play all the pips outside. Six three is going to take a checker off the high point and play into the 4. Yeah, better than playing to the ace and taking off the 3. You don't like the spare on the ace, so he keeps his distribution better. 2 off for Vincent. Okay, okay. 6-4 is going to be another 2 off. And probably still technically in range of winning the game, but it's getting tough now. And 6-6 could seal it. Probably ready to resign. Yeah, okay. On we go. 11 away, 11 away. And are we taking a short break here? Looks like one of them walking off for a second. Mate at the board, ready to take over. Okay, this is a tag team event is what's going on. I'm not going to update the graphics with Mate's name, but too much to do during the stream. But okay, we'll be back with more action here shortly. Let me get the bracket off here in the player screen eventually. Do I have that? What does it look like? Yeah, we still got that. You can see the playroom over here. Okay. The video always changes, so I got to do work to see that. But yeah, that's what we're seeing in Gibraltar here. But I'm going to hop over to the promo videos for a little bit while these players take a short break. It looks like a quick one, so I think we'll be back pretty quickly. Think we're back with the players at the board already. Yeah, here we go into the next game. And what do we have to open here? 2-1. Okay. And he's going to go for the split. Okay, I think that can be right at some match scores, I remember. But typically we like the slot in the open with the 2-1. See what XG thinks about it. Yeah, I must remember the book reply there. Okay, that's something that I saw happening occasionally in longer matches for some reason. I'm not sure why that changes. Such a strange game. Not that we like know it or anything, but XG thinks it does. Right? So something we can memorize maybe if we see enough. The 4 I think is going to break the 11 to hit almost for certain. And can continue on to hit again, I guess. What other 5 do we have? Yeah, why not? Feels strange. It's not like a play we see come up a lot, but I mean, it seems like the opportunity we've been given with that role in the distribution. 5 enters, and now Vincent with a significant opening advantage here. Is it enough to cube? He has 10 in the zone, threatening a third point, threatening to attack on the 5 there. It's not clear to me, but it can't be too far off. But it feels a little bit too much like he needs 2 things to happen on this roll. If he didn't need to cover the 2 and was just threatening to point on head, it would be more clear to me. So we're a little bit shy. Easy take for Julian. 6-3, I think. So this is one of those rolls I think it's going to hit and cover. But okay, he's going to go for the purity instead. Interesting. I would think to make the deuce point. But wow, am I way off? That's crazy. Why wouldn't we hit and continue? Okay, I guess it's a long game. And the purity is worth more, it would seem. So yeah, he's going to find it and take the long-term asset in the 5. Well done. 3-4 going to enter. Okay. I guess just no need to turn our position into a blitz this early when we can still play pure. 4-3. So now he has a decision again between covering or hitting. I think just covering and splitting seems fine. He can still win a simple racing game when his opponent establishes the 22. And Julian does. Okay. So brings a lot of life into this game for him. No longer likely to be blitzed off the board and lose a gammon that way. Now Vincent has all the pressure to escape into a regular holding game. I don't know if he can afford to spend the pips this way, though. Doesn't he need to run the back checkers while he has spares and his opponent has no board? 13-6 seems like missing out on an opportunity there and potentially running out of timing. But it's close there, okay. 6-1 can make the bar point or the 5 point. When it's giving up the 11, maybe the bar is better. But the distribution looks pretty bad afterwards, so maybe I do actually tend towards this. It's a lot of fly shots. They're pretty close. Okay. And a 4-point board we have to respect, too. It's scary to be hit, to be certain. The 3s, I think, can advance all the way out to the bar point, but then what's the last one? Maybe it is 8-5 with it. Why not? He could just make the 5 prime he's looking at as well. Okay. He could run into timing issues, but that could be called for here, too. But after I make the bar point, I'm not so scared about my opponent hitting with the 5 on the 8s. Okay, 13-10 is a little bit better than it, so we should volunteer the ace instead for some reason. Okay. I suppose his opponent doesn't escape the structure that way. And so this bar point play, though, oh, he's going to go for that. And misses. Now it's going to leave his back checkers in a lot of trouble here. 6-4 going to make the bar point and cash in on that threat for sure. And now there are rolls already that are going to crack the structure and leave Vincent in a pretty scary position here. Difficult play to find, to be certain. But okay, the 6 gets to hop out and step up to the edge. I think he's just got to play for it all while he has the 5 prime. Voluntarily giving away your structure here is just no path forward. You've got to try to go for it while you have your strong 5 prime and hope you get away with it, even though you won't most of the time. Oh, I don't see anyone in the chat. I don't know if everyone knows it, but you have to be like subscribed to the Gibraltar Backgammon channel to be in the chat or something for like a day. So if you're not already, you get it tomorrow. I don't know what to do to keep all the bots out of there that are in there all the time, but I'm trying that. If it's annoying, let me know on Facebook. I'll change it for the next stream. Beautiful shot with the 3-1 here to hit in the outfield and get distribution. 3-5 can keep making bids for freedom, so Vincent's going to stick to that plan for the foreseeable future. And under a lot of pressure from Julian, but he wants to think about a recube already. But he's got 2 checkers behind a 5 prime. I don't think he can do it here. Yeah, only a tiny favorite, if a favorite at all. Aces can hit and make the next point and board. That seems great. And he has a 6 prime slotted. This could be enough to decide the game if he gets away with it. But he's going to leave 3-6, 2-6, 1-6 from the bar. I mean, I think it's worth it. But it's probably scary. There's like... The swing on those rolls is not pleasant. 2-1 gets the anchor at the edge, though. Okay, and a little bit for both of them now. So with Julian, with the better timing, is favored in the timing battle, but they have somewhat advanced anchors. So it's not as simple as like a typical priming game. Even when someone escapes or something, we can play holding games and win races and things like that, too. So I don't think I see enough threat to send the cube, though I do think... Even though Julian's clearly winning the priming battle and might make a 6 prime on this roll, I think he still needs to like cover with a 4 and hop out with a 6 for the prime to be the threat that's going to win the game. Yeah, and we can see he's way off of it there, and it's very deceptive in that way, where it might, if it was like on the 24 point or something like this and they were trying to run, maybe this would be a different story. You know, but this isn't just a prime versus prime. Most of the time, this will just end up being a holding game anyway, you know? So still very strong racing chances in that holding game for Vincent, which is a good thing in this scenario. Okay, well done to hold off on the cube. The 6-5, I think... so here we are again with another dilemma about how much of a priming battle is this. Should he hop out and open up the attacking game plan or just sit on it? And I think he just needs to wait here. Yeah, okay. Nice find. So the holding game is the theme and not the prime. Or if it was a priming battle, I think you would try to hop over the prime right away. 3-1 can just play behind, or it can kind of crash this way. Yeah, I'm not sure if one's better than the other one. I think maybe since his game plan is still the race, I like this, to like go for distribution on the high points. Okay, XG prefers to not give the freedom to its opponent. That's a tough decision, though, for sure. Where are we with it now? And he's going to recube here. Wow, with only a 60-40 game. And with huge racing chances, like, Vincent still has a lot of room to just try to run with the 6, or his opponent can roll poorly and crash into his anchor. So we'll see if he can find the take here. Definitely a scary position after his prime breaks, though, and I think that's what Julian's thinking for sure, that if this was a prime versus prime battle, now my prime's so much better. But that doesn't actually represent the game plan going on here. The 22-point anchor is different. 5-3, for example, would allow him to run, but that's going to give a bunch of counterattacking game plan opportunities, right? So he's stuck with just playing something quiet on the front here, similar to what Julian did. 6-5 is it going to run now? I think the attack doesn't look too scary, but he's kind of out of time, so it's reasonable. Oh, this is very difficult. With the blot behind it, maybe it is the opportunity to run. I might use that to come off the anchor. But it is very tempting to just sit back and wait for this position to progress naturally like any other mutual holding game. And we can see the plays are super close here, so he can't make a big mistake with it either way. Complicated game they're playing. But we're running into two themes. Are we playing a holding game or a priming game? And it is a little bit of both with the 22. But we're seeing a lot of holding game tactics kind of trump and be used here too, especially on Vincent's side. So it seems to me like he understands well the holding potential of 22 and that it's still a racing oriented game. Yeah, not a lot to do with the 5-4 since we'd have to volunteer shots and break up the board anyway. So while we still have a 5 prime, he wants to go for it now. But you can see Vincent has very obvious winning chances here. Hitting loose with a 4 or 2. Okay, he can switch, for example, and buy time to roll the ace that way. Maybe the way to crunch his position the least is just to give up the 7 right now. 7 to 6, 2, along with the switching 4 to 3. I think that's my favorite play. And then we have the opportunity to dump behind while we try to roll a 6 as our real plan, and keep our 5-point board for as long as possible. And we could see an 8 cube in this game very easily. If he comes out with the 6, I think that's enough. I think he's a favorite already. Not quite. Okay, the 5 prime doing a lot of work. Oh, but the 6-4 is huge. It's going to hit. This could, putting 2 on the bar, could maybe even make it too good. We're going to lose our gammon leverage at this score when we turn it to an 8 cube. It's going to be worth so much less to gain that last 3 points. And so we're too good to double. We would just be wasting the opportunity to send it over already. Huge swing. This match has been filled with them. I'll show you that in the match progression after when we go back to the interview at some point. But wow, what a huge game this is. And now with less time, he's going to find the cube. And I think he's right. Yes, look at this. He seems to have a very sensitive understanding of this position and know that last position was too good. And now he's out of time and can't take the roll anymore. So he's going to claim the 4 and jump ahead to a big lead in the match. 11 away, 7 away. I cover this score specifically in my book. It does tend to have some significant adjustments at it. It's going to play a lot like a 5 away, 3 away type of score, I think. Or like a 7 away, 5 away, where, it's like a half window adjustment. It's nothing like 4 away, 2 away, but we do care on opening cubes because the recube is going to be already affected so significantly. Wow, super exciting match so far. 4-6. Okay, with the leading match score, probably just supposed to run on this one, but our natural play at normal scores and everything is to make the 2 point. He's going to go for the split. All of them run really close, as you can see. 4-6 is going to get to hit, and I think probably split along with it. And 2-6 is going to return fire from the bar. Okay. So Julian with 3 checkers back right away, which is going to make it hard to get in the aggressive cube too early. I think 3-6 can hit on the 16 though and work toward that, sending another checker back. And hopefully his opponent doesn't make an anchor, and then he's got something to work with. 5-2 does link up with the bar point though. Great shot for Vincent. 2-1. No anchor available for Julian to counter. So I think the best he can do in a close race is just clean up a blot. Yeah, I like this decision. And Vincent with like a small positional advantage, but down in the race. I'm surprised he's thinking about this. This cube is going to be way off. Still basically a 50-50 game. Yeah, maybe he just wants to get his handle on the pip count to make sure he's addressing the plays correctly as it goes forward. The ace, yeah. So knowing that it's close like this, then he knows that he has to attack and try to prevent the anchor, and he can't just play simple. And I think we want to play down with it. With only 8 in the zone, continuing on the ace just isn't worth as much as the potential to make the pure point, I don't think. We'll see what it likes here, though. But wow, they're actually very close. Okay. Man, a lot of these that are running close on decisions are surprising me a lot. 3-6 is going to hit out in the outfield again, but leaves the 5 point slotted, so a little bit of a win for Vincent there. He gets to enter and cover, much better than hitting, I do believe, is having the 5 point. So now Vincent with the structural game and Julian with the racing-oriented game. If he could clean up an escape here, that'd be great. I think, what does he want to, does he want to leave the blot there on the 16 so that he can make the 3 and the 10? He does need to escape or unstack. He's just going to go for this safe. Okay, yeah, racing oriented makes a lot of sense. Solves a stack too. Leaves good distribution to improve next roll. 5-2, it's going to bunch up on the anchors. Okay, I'm not sure about this. A lot of times we don't like anchors interacting together like this. But maybe because of the challenging the spares on the 10, 8, and 6, this is the idea. Double 3s would like to just run, I guess. Why not challenge a strip midpoint? It's just a game plan play at this point. Switching 8 to 5 is reasonable, but I think the 8 is actually a nicer landing point for bringing this racing game home. So yeah, I like this best play of just running. When we get into like a clearly defined game plan like this, where we just have the racing advantage, our opponent has anchors, we're not no other offensive plan, then that's when we start to commit to it, So this is a good example of that kind of decision. No dice on checker, 5-5's not going to count. Wouldn't have hit. The 3-2 hits though. And Vincent not so sad to give up his midpoint when he has the bar point anchor. Gives enough outfield presence. Aces is going to enter and make the 5. And the last ace is annoying. I guess probably 6-5 is better than destroying your back checker positioning. But yeah, we could advance 24-23 to try to keep the spares the way we want them to. You'd rather just not play the 4th ace. But we're choosing, best of, or what's the best, worst, least worst thing to do. 5-2. I think he wants to stay back on the 11 for containment, and so maybe just 10-5 and 8-6 looks good for distribution, something like this. I don't think we want to touch any back checkers. Yeah, well played. And once again, Julian just looking to run. 6-5 will do that. Nice shot for him. And so in a simple racing game like this, he isn't going to have a whole lot of adjustment to the cube. He needs to get to basically the same place where you'd send it at a normal score. Because there's a lack of gammon threat, and the recubes aren't so powerful there. They can still be, the recube will still be useful for Vincent this late in the game, is kind of part of it. So with the racing lead, he might have enough here, but maybe the extra contact actually still makes it difficult to send. It's going to be difficult to clear past this. 3-6 is already a pain. The 8-2 is the only 6. And what can we do with the 3? I guess just play down and hope we roll a 5-3 to clear or something like that. But he's going to make the point instead. Maybe it keeps more numbers playable next time. I'm not sure. Yeah, there must be some real tactics here that I'm missing out on again. Interesting play there. And if it wasn't a cube last time, then I think we've gotten a little further now with our weaker distribution. 2 checkers off the 8 for Vincent. Okay. Curious how close we are, though. Yeah, we're right on the cusp there. Last roll, we actually did have a small cube. Okay. 4-3 can play into the 6. Nice shot for Julian. So small improvement. Maybe he'll think about it now. The 2 can cover, and then the 4 comes up to the bar point. Sure. Has he improved enough to send yet? He doesn't think so. Coasting along. 5-3 is going to clear. Beautiful shot. Yeah, and he's probably thinking, like, do I really lose my market when I roll something like this with the contact against the 10 anyway, or the 21? I think he's about to find out. But yeah, with all these spares, I think he has time to clear it easy enough that it's not clear to me that it's a take. Even though often having the 10 and the 8 without the 7 against the 21 like this does generate takes. Wow, it's still a massive take though. Okay. The contact, the board is perfect. Yeah, they're probably awkward numbers immediately. Very interesting. And so if the cube is still just borderline here, it is really hard to see why we would have cubed when we still had the midpoint as well. So totally understandable that he's playing this game out this way. And yeah, in Vincent's shoes, I might be confused about this too and not crystal clear on the take. I would have to, I think to find it with confidence, I'd have to start going through the numbers and find out if there's anything really awkward right on this roll. I guess a 6-3 is already a problem. Double 6s is a little weird. What else do we have? Double 4s is not terrible. Double 3s is pretty weird. Yeah, I guess we probably just have enough rolls like that where we're getting a little bit of extra of vig on some of these really destructive things having 2 anchors. Somehow we have to balance that with, if we roll a 6, we're leaving the bar point. But that's not so scary. Julian only has a 3-point board right now, and we have a perfect 5-point board. So I think that contact's still going to somewhat clearly favor us. Yeah, it looks like 6-6 is actually the worst roll. 6-3, 3-3, a little bit troublesome. 2-1, but none of them too bad. Okay, and going to find the right action in the take. 5-4 follows up, and that's going to bring 2 checkers in. And that's a nice improvement for Julian's position to work on clearing from the rear there. 2-2 can work on escaping safely. Yeah, I think he's just going to go to the 14 and count on his 21-point anchor now. And not have to leave any shots that might allow Julian to clean more easily. This, I think, again, is going to bring in 2 checkers and just get ready to clear. That's always my instinct. Sometimes the flexibility of something like this 10 to 3 is better. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I would make this mistake. Just think that my goal is to clear the point as quickly as possible. But that's sizable for the distribution and shot leaving potential apparently here. He wants to just delay a little bit more. Those are tricky. Everyone says like holding games are easy games, but I mean, I find a lot of these decisions very technical and difficult. So 5-2 is going to allow him to clear from the rear now. Happy with his play for sure. Though I guess it leaves odd on the outside. Maybe that'll be a problem somehow. I don't know. 4 in and 2 down. Looking good. And 6-1 can just play to the ace. Sure, sure. So 6-1 and 6-4 are the problems next roll. 4-3 can leave a checker outside. Yeah. I mean, we could slot the ace and play 11-8, but I think we want to save a 6. Oh, he's just going to come into the board instead, though. Okay. Yeah, I guess the board not so threatening. That can make some sense. Just 6 to ace looks like the play here. Look at that 4-3. Yeah, it does seem to be best on 3-ply anyway. 6-4 is going to run a checker. 6-4. Oh, after it runs, now it has to hit. Okay, here is Vincent's chance. I think we're going to reduce shots by hitting. But I guess it's the same number. And we might not clean it up when we hit, though we should clean up every time the other way. So there is some reason to just letting our opponent play. But then we allow them to roll double 6s to get back in the game. So I don't know. The hit seems like what I would end up going for. But you can definitely make an argument for playing quiet instead, that it might clean up better. And so now when missed, he could still roll 6s, 5s, 6-5 to have trouble. You know, he doesn't always cover it or clean it up. 5-5, for example. This looks like it's going to be at least 2 off and 1 from the 6 point, I think. And then do we want to go for the distribution of 6 to ace or just take another checker off? With that Blotton board, I'm not sure. Every checker off is going to be worth quite a bit here in potential winning chances. But I guess the difference between 2 and 3 is not so much. If he gets hit, he loses either way on that. So maybe reducing chances of being hit is the priority here. And wow, we should just clear the 6 entirely. That was not on my radar. And yeah, the third best play is what he finds. That seemed like a totally reasonable option for me. Difficult one for sure. 3s, what is this going to do now? It can play safe. Okay, so it can hit, clean up, and play 5 to deuce. Okay, and he'll go for that and win most games. With all the checkers inside for Vincent, there aren't really many gammons here, unless some crazy things start to happen. So he just wants to maximize safety, Julian does. 6-3 going to pop out, and looks like we're going to hop to 9 away, 7 away, most likely. A little bit closer match. Two is going to hop around all the way to the 8 points. 6-3 is going to take 2 off. Okay. 3-2 is going to resign a game. No gammon. Okay. And on we go. Well played game that time. Are they talking about plays a little bit here? I'm not sure. This is interesting. I'd be very curious what decision they're chatting about. All right. 3-2 is going to standard split down to the 11. 9 away, 7 away, a lot less score adjustment now, too. 2 is going to hit loose, and the 6 can pop out? Sure. The hit and split. Common opening theme. 2 is going to enter, and 1 can hit on the bar point, and we got blots everywhere. Another bloody game to start. Big swings in games like this all the time. 1-6 returns fire on the bar, and now we'll see if Julian can clean up that blot on the 4 points. 2-1, yeah, he gets to hit it. And send a third checker back, so 3 back to 3 back. Vincent aiming for that outfield blot. Oh, a 6-6 is going to fam, though. Okay. And with the trail in the match, he's going to pause to think about it, but I don't think we have enough here, especially with our third checker back ourselves, But interesting position for sure. Could be at 4-away, 2-away. He's going to go ahead and hit another checker. And I think just advancing a back checker, but he wants to... I guess this can be good. It makes a point, but it strips the midpoint, gets prepared to play offense. Yeah, these all run very close. Okay. Confusing one to be sure. My instinct is just to split from the back because the other ones aren't good enough with like the negatives that come along with them. 4-6 is going to enter one, and we're already well poised to attack here, you know? So Julian needing, I think if he can point on ahead or something like that, then he's got, you know, a nice cube, but still a little bit off here. Clear cube at 4-away, 2-away, 9-away, 7-away, different story. And of course, we're much further off a cube at a normal score. But it's hard to find these doubles with no points made. So I think he's got to go for the unstacking idea and continue the attack. The 5 could come out or play down. Either seems fine. I don't see a hit on the ace here. Okay, yeah, goes for the offense this time, but we're running out of time on the front. Entering 2, again, I think plenty to keep the cube off. Now he's got a 24 point in the game until the end. 5-1 gets to point on head, I'm pretty sure. What else? Yeah, we don't have another way to deal with the blotting board, so I think we have to go for that. But it feels weird to make it like an impure point now that our opponent has a 24 point. It's starting to get a little bit risky in what rates to be a long strategic game at this point. But he does just have a big racing advantage, so maybe he can capitalize on that instead. We're not allowed to put a third checker on the 24, so he's going to enter on the 4 and then find his best ace. And against 10 in the zone, it feels a little rich to split the back checkers. But what else can we do? Okay, nice find. Yeah, I don't know what I would have done with that, but I'm not sure I could have figured out to split the back. And now Julian wants the cube for sure. Still a little bit shy, but I like it still. And we get a take by Vincent. Okay, okay. Excitement with the board point now. And yeah, so we see the trouble with the threat of Julian's position is really the third checker back. He's just a little too immobile on the front. I think just making the 5 point is such a huge structural improvement here that it's worth it. Even though he leaves a triple shot on the bar point. So most likely getting hit. Oh, he found one of the rolls that misses. Not a bad miss, though. Makes a board point in the anchor, and probably 13 to 11, though the 8 to 6 distribution, too, is quite tempting for sure. Yeah, it feels better to solve the stack here. All right. Julian can enter on the higher point and play 8 to 7 or just clean up 7 to 6. The interaction with the 24 point checker is tempting, but I'm not sure it's actually worth leaving the direct off the anchor. Yeah, okay, it is. Interesting. They're super close. 2-1 can make the 11 and step up to the 23 to see the light. Or it can just step up to the point and try to run. If he was more ahead in the race, I would like this. But I think he should want a piece of structure here. Wow, again the plays are tied. That's so strange. I'm not sure what the idea is there. 4-2 can make the 20 point and improve on that threat to make the offensive points on Vincent's side. Vincent's still down in the race. Ooh, the 2 could cover the 11, but then we don't have any ace to play. So what do we do? I think we can duplicate 5's 11 to 10 and play 8 to 6 with it, or we can just clean up. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a strong preference between those. Oh, or we can play 8 to 7 and leave a double shot. And no duplication whatsoever. Wow, that's a weird one to find. 11 to 8 feels like a pretty human play here. And like also just the duplication is tempting about that 11 to 10, 8 to 6. But I'm not sure. I guess it's nice to have the blocking point, but it's hard to... I guess this far down in the race we can see 8 to 7. It seems reasonable. Okay, okay. I like that idea. Yeah, don't fault this though. This is kind of stuck out as a clear option to me to begin with. 4-1 with the better board, I think we should go for it. We got to get those back checkers moving around too. But some counterplay for sure. Plenty of entering and hitting numbers for Vincent. But when he doesn't, he's under a lot of gammon pressure. 2-6 is a good one. Going to send that third checker back again. Julian enters. The 4 doesn't look so strong. I guess he just plays around the bend for lack of options. What else can we do? I'm not sure why we'd want to hop out to the outfield and be hit that way. Yeah, the 4 can make a point and just play 13 to 11 down, I guess. I think way down in the race, he's just looking for very pure and structural plays. So why not make another blocking point, another outfield landing point, put a threatening checker on the 11 for building. Even though it might be hit with a 6, I don't think that's going to change the game so much. 5-4 can link up with the 11. That's a beautiful way to start making, it's a bridge home. So I think for sure. The 22-13, okay, that's a candidate too to get we don't want to get stuck with such a big lead in the race on the 22. So now would be a good time to give it up if we didn't have such a constructive alternative in just linking up with the 11. He must have been thinking that before the roll, that he was excited to run off the 22 and then noticed that he had a better option or something like this. I don't know. All right. Yeah, we're just going to shuffle checkers around and stay in indirect range as Vincent hope to make some points in front of that 22-point anchor before it can escape. Aces, nothing to do with this but to advance to the 9. We don't want to make impure points in the board. I guess it helps us get home a little easier point to clear potentially. 3-2, I think I favor playing 2 down here. I think we already have the outfield well covered, and we see the whole board when we do this too. The 17 can see all the way to the 11 there, and then the 10 continues on. So I like it. Sometimes it can be hard to see these sorts of board presence things when we're not used to having points like the 17. But it makes how the midpoint works a little bit different. 3-1, I don't see a lot of options but playing behind. Julian just wants to keep this quiet and work toward home without shots if he can get so lucky. But the next big thing he wants to do is run off that 22 before he loses any of his front structure. So I think he should keep waiting to do that. Now Vincent's going to make the 5 point and make it very threatening to run off that 2. So it got scarier, but I think Julian's still going to try it. 6-1 for sure he's going to do that. Even with the blot and board, he has to send a checker back and try to escape here. 2-1's going to hit back. And the ace 6-5, I don't see any other options really. No need to add another blot or anything like this. And Vincent in good shape in this game now. We'll see how Julian replies. Still a lot of work to do for both sides, so no one's too worried. Ace, I think, yeah, the 6 can hop out to control the outfield. I like this play. And Julian came out of this sequence pretty well. Still Vincent with like a severe lack of flexibility and no clear path to containing the checker back on the 24. So yeah, the 6 out for mobility, continuing into the triple shot seems like a bit much. So maybe we just have to play 8-4, or we can go for a tempo hit. Sure, with all the blots outside, okay. I don't mind that idea. Seems like a little bit better to just let our opponent play, apparently. This deuce, I think, can just clean up 15-13, but it gets a little more mobility stepping up. Interesting, and links up. Okay. 3-5 fans. Wow, okay. That's a big sequence for Julian. Now he has a lot better chances of bringing this around safely. I think the 5-2, why not come around to the 9? Yeah, I like that. No shots in direct range, or even in indirect range from the bar. 1-4 can enter, and then what? And then 8-4 this time? Enter deep? Yeah, I feel like that's the idea. We want to be ready for fly shots. No need 17-13 just gives so many ways to get an easier ride home. And there's no checkers really poised to attack us on the 24. So I don't feel the urgency in stepping up. 17-13, a little bit better there. Interesting. Leaving the double shot just seems difficult to do here. But I guess maybe when our opponent can't move it or does something else, we put pressure on that blot so it can go both ways. But that seems like a tough one to find. He's looking at this interesting slotting the bar option. Okay, this is much closer than I would think. But these guys are pretty sharp. Finding multiple candidates when they run close like this shows to me a pretty deep understanding of the game. 6-1, a beautiful shot for Julian, just links up. 5-6. Can't run from the back, so I think it'll just run from the front. Why not? We're down a ton of pips in the race. We're not really risking running out of timing here, so I don't think he needs to go for something like 21-15. He can just, play around to the 6 and get ready to build his board. Wait for his opponent to have to clear the 15 and the 13 is the plan. 4-1. Okay, so it can play safe, but it has to break 3-2, and Julian happy to do that with his prioritization on racing game plan now. 4-3 makes the next board point for Julian. Very nice. I guess it could advance. Yeah, he's going to pause and think about whether he needs the mobility a little more or not, but decides to go for the board right now instead. I like that decision. 3-2. I think we don't want to clear the 9 until we clear the more rear points. So he's going to leave an indirect here, which I'm not sure we can afford either. 6-5 and a lot of 7s. That's scary. Maybe we should just shuffle around. Yeah, a bit of an overplay there because the indirects do hurt quite a bit. 4-3. Vincent's going to find one. 4-6 is a fan. And now Vincent in the lead in this position, I think. I don't know, though. He's got a lot of work with so many checkers back. Yeah, definitely a favorite. Not in cube territory at the leading score either. There is going to be a significant effect on the recube here in his reduced gammon price and the threat of it coming back. Like the 8 points is inefficient for him. So it's a very scary 4 cube descend, to be certain. Goes for the 17-13 instead of changing. Yeah, okay. That's a tricky one. And yeah, so we're still a ways off where for money this is probably pretty reasonable initial cube. 4-3 is going to hop out for mobility and maybe link up or just duplicate the aces and deuces to hit. Okay, I like this. I like this. Maximum flexibility in the future. Pretty good entry number for Julian, just getting to come down there and hopefully roll a 6 to still salvage his racing lead here. 5-4 can hit loose on the ace. Is that what it needs to do here? Otherwise, it leaves our opponent a bunch of chances to roll a 6 to win instead. So we should just consolidate and make the 9 instead. Yeah, this is understandable to me. Like I said, the idea just we don't want to let our opponent escape with a 6. But I guess the follow-up is pretty weak. We don't have a lot of covers. We still have so much ground to cover that we need a little bit of priming value to get this home. 4-3-2, I think, can just come around the bend with both and leave a ton of indirects to cover next time. Still looking to fade an ace, the 3-3. Okay, how we doing? Now I think Vincent in a pretty big lead in this game. Yeah. So looking like clear cube action for some other scores, but at this match score, of course, like this kind of game's likely to turn too good in a lot of iterations. 2-2, I guess 9-7 is going to be part of it. And then do we want to stay further back or keep the blocking point directly in front? Oh, we can just cover the 3. Yeah, let's do that. Let's have a board. Stop all this Julian or Vincent hitting us loose stuff. 2-1 is going to cover the 6 prime. Beautiful shot. Okay. Even with the checker wasted on the 24, he's able to establish that 6 prime. Which is going to leave Julian in a lot of trouble. 3-2, I think, is going to be forced to clear a blocking point because I don't want to leave a direct shot from the midpoint. Tricky decision, though. Both players playing pretty sharp here. Look at this. We should just slot here. Try to get some counter priming threat of our own. That's a hard find. Very tricky play. I don't know how you convince yourself into this. I think at normal scores, it looks like the math wouldn't check out on this too, though maybe with the turn cube is what it really is. But we can see we only win 4% more games. Okay, it likes this now by playing down 13-8. And we give up 18%, 17% more gammons. So the normal math of like half the value just doesn't check out. But for some reason, we win a few more gammons when we play 13-8 too. So it's getting closer there. But yeah, this does look to be like a smaller score play, which is tough to find. Did he? He rewound it illegally. Okay, figures that out. Yeah, cool. Nice catch, y'all. Don't make me enter illegal moves. It's really hard. 3-2 clear in the 9. Yeah, there we go. And with the 6 prime, he's going to find the recube. Okay. This seems quite reasonable. Doesn't seem like a ton of gammons. Things can go wrong. What do we got here? And it's actually shy of a recube. Wow. That's a pass for normal scores. And it's a borderline recube at this score. And so understandably, Julian going to let it go. I'm not sure how to find the take there. That's a tough one, even at a trailing score, I think. Hard to see the life against the 6 prime. Wild one. Okay. 908 5-way we're going to go to. Very difficult cube action there. All right. 4-3 to open, so we should split at these at leading scores instead of playing the usual 2 down. 2-1 can attack and split along with it. And 4-1 is going to return fire. And I think the checker on the 9 is still happy, so sure, we can just step up and fight for a higher point. 9 to 8 an option with it, though. Okay, very interesting. 2 can enter and hit loose again. The battle for the 5-point continues. 4-4. Battle continues. I think we're going to send another checker back, and then we're going to make the 9, I think, and hop out. But it's tempting to just find a way to make a board point instead here. I think hitting a little too strong, though. Yeah, continuing out to the 16, finds the best of it. 5-3 can make the best advanced anchor if it wants to in front of these stacks. Seems pretty strong. Scary having these 10 checkers bearing down without that. 2-2 can make the best next point behind it. So I think we're making the 4 for sure. And then what else? Maybe switching 9 to 7 actually has some value here for interaction with those checkers on the 24 and 23. Yeah, nice find by Vincent, I think, there. Julian with a 6-2. What can he do with this? He's outboarded now, and it's his last spare on the 6, so hitting 6-4 really doesn't look very attractive. Maybe we just need to make a positional play like 24 to 16 and try to get those checkers moving. We're way down in the race. We could just slot the 5 or something like this too, but look, oh, yeah, look at this. So it's just, when we're this far down in the race, running isn't an option. But I understand why he does it. Just everything else looks so weak. But getting more checkers sent back when we're 50 pips down is really not a big deal. It doesn't change the game much. We just got to hope for that upside of making some sort of structural advantage. I think probably 13 to 5 is what I end up finding there to unstack the mid. This, without 2 anchors, the 13-7-6-4 just feels so loose. 5-3, yeah. Do we want to anchor up or find... I think... I don't have a 3 with it. Well, yeah, why not make a board point? We're only facing 6 in the zone. We're not worried about any offensive threat yet. Just a huge advantage. That seems so strong to me. But just running is better. Wow, and it's off by a lot. Okay. If we play this 21 to 16, then the 13 to 10 is the play with it. Okay, but he finds this anchoring play instead. I think the theme that allows me to see that I don't need an anchor is this just 6 in the zone and so many checkers back. There must be something more constructive we can do. But he does at least know that he needs to deal with the back checkers, and that's more important than making the 3-point. I would have made that mistake for sure. 6-1 is going to point on head. Okay, beautiful. 2-2 fans. And it's going to be tough for Vincent to find a cube at this score. With a 4-point lead this close to the end, recubes are going to come back a little too aggressive. His gammons aren't even going to be worth that much, even though he gets a Crawford. So I think he's going to be... Oh, he misses a sizable cube here, though. This is just a normal enough game with a racing lead that he can send it. Okay, okay. We'll come back and look at that cube. 5 what? 5-2. Okay, starts a point. Yeah, and so now this feels like it plays more like a holding game. I don't expect there to be another cube. But let's go look at that cube real quick. Yeah, so this massive, like, gammon threat along with the wins is enough to generate a pass still at the score. Massive pass for normal scores. Okay, he's just going to go for it now and duplicate 4s while his opponent has no board. Seems good. There's the 4. Can he afford to hit with it, or does he just have to work on his structure? That's a tough one for Julian. Ugh. I don't know what to do. It doesn't change that much to hit, so I guess I just make a board point. I don't know. Okay, we're definitely supposed to hit. We're just dead if we don't. Okay, okay. Man, this is so tricky. Like, the thing with the 21 to 16, if we look at, like, the pip count after the play, we're still, like, massively down, and we might just get hit. So, I don't know. These are very difficult decisions to decide when to go for it and when to not. We're going to increase our gammons by quite a bit, but not enough to be too bad. Even finds the 4 to 3 with it. I guess... Oh, he doesn't want to step into 6s from the bar is the main issue. Okay. 3-6 is going to hit and establish the point in the outfield. And 3-4 is going to start another board point. Yep, yep. And now with all these checkers back, okay, the combination of the gammon threat and the racing lead he thinks is enough yet now. And I would still imagine these to be takes. Yeah, look at this. We're up to almost 29% winning chances. At normal scores, the gammons are just way too scary. But when we get into these asymmetric scores, a lot of the adjustment we make when we receive a cube from a leader is to more or less just, like, forget about the gammons, count on the recube vig, and hope that we can get to that kind of position where sending it to 4 is going to be valuable enough. And like, it's not pure math in these either. It's not just that the gammon price is so reduced. It really is a lot to do with how often we'll be able to turn this around somehow. And when we get into a winning position, sending that 4 cube to like stop the gammons is going to be worth so much. So we're going to be able to get that in early and aggressively, which will be a nice and a very good opportunity to turn around. Okay, he lets it go, not too far off of that decision, and totally understandable. If you saw these numbers, you still might not consider taking the cube. Plus is going to put it even closer too, so that's going to get Vincent to a 4-way scoreline too. A lot of people like to use that. It's not like my first rule really for making score adjustments. I don't think it helps. It might break some ties or something like that. But a common thing that I hear too. We don't want to pass and let our opponent get to 4-away. It's still going to be tough for Vincent to send cubes. He's going to have to be more patient than normal. But in gammonish positions, he still will have to send the cube at some point to try to win the match with that. There is still an effect of that sort. I think you'll see more conservative than money still. But it's interesting that usually when you're leading, you tend to not like to send gammonish cubes at all. And this is a score where actually that is kind of where you want to get it in, to try to win the match efficiently. Like, there's still enough added value as long as you're not going to have to deal with recubes too often. All right, ace in 5 down. And 4-1. This can switch to the bar point against the made 24. Seems pretty strong. 5-2 hits anyway. Okay, hops the prime. So a nice start for Julian. He's definitely going to have more aggressive cubes because he's almost never going to have to face a recube. But once your opponent anchors up, you don't have a whole lot here. The gammon threat isn't working in your favor. It's kind of nice for them to sit on a 2 cube and try to win, get 2 points closer to the match end. So you don't have incentive to play the cube aggressively anymore once they cancel that 4-point threat. 5 is going to hit, and then maybe 6 out for mobility. No, he plays down instantly. Okay, maybe he needs to continue the attack. That could be right. And some gammons in this position, but Vincent still needs to get working from the back. Yeah, a little bit better to come out after that one. Okay. 3-2 is going to make a board point. 3-1 can... Does it want to enter involuntarily prime? Or do we allow ourselves to be attacked in gammon maybe? This is a scary play. Maybe 2 up if we're going to do that. 6-5. Yeah, I'm not sure. Split in the middle. But I would be a little bit afraid to not enter on the 24 even though I'm primed. 5-2 could convert to a blitz, but it can also just make a priming point and play down. We don't really have the time for that. Interesting. Yeah, I guess... 5 primes are strong still. 3-1, I think, why not just 8-4 with it? Oh, we can go for a tempo hit. Weird. I'm not sure what the value of that is, really. I would not find that either. But he's going to play 8-5, 24-23, 6-5. This is just going to run a checker. Try to go for mobility in a close race now. Double 2s could make another blocking point. Okay, this is a pretty nice improvement for Julian. We really love having that 9 point against the 22-point anchor specifically. And 5-3 is going to convert to an attack for Vincent. So here we go in those gammonish threatening positions. It's going to be hard to find it here. Okay, ace is a beautiful response. Gets to the edge, hits, flattens out 5-4. Sure, huge advantage for him. So forget about that cube I was talking about with Vincent, but he still had a lot of work to do to hop out 22-18 as well there. Even though when it works, he's going to win a lot of gammons. I think sending on the volatility might be a thing that we do at normal scores, but it's going to be tough to do at this kind of score. So we've gotten to a point where it's very difficult for the leader to find a cube. 4-3, I think we want to point on head. But I mean, there is an argument to be made that we want to rely on our prime and just let our opponent crack somehow. Yeah, so once again, we're in more of a holding game than a priming game. And now that he's bought this time, he can just roll a 6 to advance. But again, even if he gets out here, he's playing against the 22-point holding game, which is fairly strong. So if he loses his market, it's not going to be by that much. And so for that reason, I don't think he needs to send a cube here. Wisely waits, even at the score. Don't think the gammon threat is all that much here with the anchor. 4-4 is going to fan. Let's look at that cube action. Yeah, not even the favorite yet is quite a problem with sending the cube at the score. 3-1. Yeah, I think we're going to keep sitting on our structure and waiting for a 6, but things are getting a little hairy. 3-1 enters, so now Vincent has some crunching potential, but he also gets to hop the back checker if Julian can escape and run, and he has the option to attack here too. So 6-5, yeah, I think just coming around the bend seems very logical. And Vincent looking to hit off the edge there. I think that's his new game plan. 5-4. Oh, it can hit in the outfield. What a shot. Okay. The 4-5 single fly shot. 3-5 fans. And now there are a ton of gammons in this position. Okay. Still has some work to do to hit off the edge. But yeah, this could be big for the match for sure. Let's see what his cube action looks like. He actually can claim here with this. This is a bit surprising to me. Very difficult to find, so close to too good that we're not losing much equity. But okay. Yeah, I thought the wins would make it tough to get a cube in, but we're right at that right balance at this score. 4-4, for sure we're coming out, right? Is there some way to cover? No. 1, 2, yeah, so we're just coming out with 2. And maybe playing 13-5 seems fine, but I think we want to keep the bar point here for now. 22-14, fine too. Okay, yeah. Either way, and when we're missed on the 2, we're winning a gammon, and when we're not, then at least we have the bar point to still try to turn this around and win. We're still doing really well. I don't know. I think white's still a huge favorite even after red rolls a 2 after this play. Finds the best and just goes for maximum mobility. Well done. 1-3 enters, and we're continuing to play for a gammon here. 3-2 can cover. Oh, it can cover the rear. Yeah. Make the prime. Okay. 7-2 a little bit better though. That's the first thing I saw as well. Why leave the 2 shot from the bar? Oh, because of 6 prime. And we create this 2-6. You know, so that's pretty nice. Still winning a ton of gammons. 5-1's gonna fan. Yeah, Vincent can do some good job to kind of like crunch through and make the anchor and save some gammons that way. Yeah, I guess it's better to cover with the ace. I don't know, instead of having another checker back. These are confusing positions to try to roll forward. Anchor worth more there, and you can just lift to the ace, yeah. Because you have no way to win this game. I like that. That makes a lot of sense. XG knows how to prioritize damage control for sure. Yeah, so again, I think we don't want to slot here. I think we just want to bury checkers. This was illegal? Okay, I can do that though. 8, 1, 8, 8, 5, and then we have a 2-2 to play. Okay. 2, oh. And then a 3-1. Sorry, I'm catching up here. Is going to anchor and enter. Yeah, okay, instead of attacking or anything like that. Sweet, I got the illegal move in. Oh, that's so stressful, you guys. I'm transcribing here too. Trying to keep up with y'all. 3-2 can close out and make sure we can roll forward efficiently, or it can just clear the 6. I guess that's going to keep the board the longest. We don't really want to slow down our opponent's progress anyway. Interesting when we have to find these, like, the natural thing is just to point on head, of course, but it's not going to gain anything when you're behind a 6 prime. Vincent, I think, can keep playing on mainly for the threat of like the crunch and trap off, and he can win gammons that way. So he's trying to be patient and win that way, but the gammon's not so high in this position at the moment. 4-3, we can actually take a look at that and see how too good we are. Yeah, only 12%. So, I mean, plus only wants the too good by a small margin there. 6-1 is going to flatten out. Okay, 5-3. Going to fill in a gap, try to allow him to roll forward. And Julian's still a good ways off of really crunching. So it looks like it's probably going to be claimed as a signal when we get a little bit closer to problem rolls for Vincent. But we'll see what he does here. He's going to make the ace. Okay. Yeah, it's trap time. He gives him 5s out. I like that. Okay. Very nice play. And against the 4-point board, there could be problem rolls here where I'm like kind of thinking claiming is worth something now. And yeah, we can see on the analysis that better to take this one now than to keep playing on. We've reached that tipping point, but he takes an extra roll there. Not by a large margin. Could still be different decision on plus plus, something like this. All right. And yeah, let's see what he comes up with here. Gammons are just so low here, yeah. And so he's going to go ahead and cash. Likely move on to 3 away. And 3 away, 9 away. There is some work to do for Julian to get back in this one. They're going to take a short break here, it looks like. So I'll hop over here. And I think, do we have this up here? Yeah. Are they taking a break? I'm going to make sure before I miss out or something. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, the players are going to take a minute here. While we're on this, though, I can show you I love this thing here. This is so much fun. This is the match progression. We can see there are just massive swings in those early games, then all of a sudden got to a big deficit. Julian's been kind of climbing back to almost even money in the match, and now kind of down there in the teens of winning percentages at 3 away, 9 away. So tough fight for him. But it's so fun to just remember the swings in this, that at some point Julian was like a 60% favorite in the match too. We can see kind of early on after a couple of games, but the dice come to get you, you know? That's always a nice feature to look at there. We got the nice playroom shot here. But yeah, I will give my voice a little break here. Hop over to break, show you guys some ads. But stick with it for the conclusion of this match. Thanks, everybody. All right, guys. I saw Julian working his way back to the board there, so probably a little time till they're off break, but I figured I'd come back and get synced up again. We are currently 3 away for Vincent and Nardi against playing the white checkers on top against Julian's 9 away. So big match advantage for Vincent, as we saw in that match progression, which I can share real quick again. In the teens for winning chances with Julian. He's got a long way to go to get back in this game for sure. So let's see if we can start grinding that out. Big cube adjustments, of course. If Julian gets a good position, he can send it without much fear of a recube. And quite scary for Vincent to send it if there's any recube potential whatsoever. So most likely White's going to play the cube pretty safe. And Julian's going to get to play it very aggressive. See how that goes. Always, I love the match dynamics like that. It can change the checker plays a little bit, but not as significant of a change. In the opening, we see a small favoritism for less, volatile positions, more racing, like a 6-4 opening for Julian, or for Vincent should run, where now clearly for Julian, it should clearly make a point. So we start to see the scores distinguish themselves that way. But they aren't too big and too different, and some players don't really adjust that at all. So a 3-6 open probably favors a run at this score as well, actually. But they're quite close. Okay, tied, the split is fine. Yep. 5-2, usually after a 6 split, we like to tempo hit on the ace to disconnect the checkers from anchoring. But he's just going to go for the split, always a fine option, very close. 5-2, I guess this can get a checker to safety. The double hit's a little weak since it's the spare on the 8 that we're using to do it. But a lot of fly shots in the outfield if we I guess we could clean up both plots, which at the score feels like kind of a nice solid play to just try to play a race. So sure, let's go for that. We can see there's almost enough gammons or not really enough gammons to compensate even at other scores, since we give a lot of gammons back to our opponents too. Yeah, I think he's going to feels thematic. We're ahead in the race. We can do this. We don't want to leave all the fly shots. We can get a checker to safety and have a checker's back advantage. Just feels strange because how are you ever going to bring this home? That can be a difficult thing to do in the early game. This seems more obvious. You get a fan, you cover the ace, you are in a blitzing game plan with a lot of threats, So understandable. 3-2 going to enter deep. Very nice entry for Julian. Loves to be not in range of where Vincent would comfortably like to attack him. Oh, we got Mate bringing coffee to everyone, apparently. Okay. Nice. 6-5. Coffee's important, but it's hotel coffee, so I don't know how I feel about that. Anchor up and cover the ace. Once you slot it, you tend to like to put a checker on and have an asset instead of a liability back there. Unless you're in like a really clearly long sort of positional game, and then you might prefer to have it recirculated. But again, here, Vincent would be very happy to just be able to convert this into a racing game, especially at this score. So he's going to go for a positional play again. Okay. So we can see like a little bit of tendency there, but it's really small stuff. And once our opponent has an anchor, we want to have one of our own too. So Julian quickly makes a 21 point. Solid play there. 6-4. We can't really comfortably clean up that blot on the 10 point. Likely to have to leave it direct. So I think now is a good time to start making a point behind, like the 2 point. In these mutual holding games, inevitably it's going to be contact unless someone rolls a big set to escape. A lot of times we're going to leave shots and need a board at some point. So it's easy to underestimate the value of like making board points. Yeah, I thought about this other play. It seems strange to make a 6 stack and strip points and all these things with a 13, 7, 10 to 6. But I guess it keeps the checkers a little more pure and not committed to deep points like this. So I guess I can see the merit in that. Just playing to the 3 point and trying to make that point, not a bad play either. Okay. This is a tricky one, though, and he's going to take a while to figure it out and come up with the best option. Seems like something he's battled with before, apparently, if he has an idea to think deeply about this one. And what does he find? Oh, he plays behind with it instead. Okay. Oh, he makes the 2 points. Sorry, what am I talking about? Yeah. That was my favored play, but okay, we make the 5, and he steps up. I guess it's not clear to me that we want to shift 21 to 20. Maybe more contact when we're this far down in the race is better. Yeah, misses an opportunity to keep that open. It's going to be difficult for Vincent to fill in the 5 point with his distribution anyway. So we can make his life a little bit harder that way. Um, why, if this is a 6-3, why not make the bar point? He's going to cover the ace instead. Okay, I guess it prepares the contact somehow, but a landing point seems very valuable. It feels like he probably just didn't see that was an option somehow. This is like fatigue in matches and tournaments is definitely a thing that comes up. I don't know for sure. And with such a strong board, okay, so we see his idea is just to have the board ready and volunteer shots in front of the anchor and dare his opponent to go for it before he's as ready as Vincent's board is. I like that plan. I think he's still got enough time to stay back on the 20. No need to advance to the 18, though it could be better contact. My focus would be getting some board points ready here. Maybe another way to do that is to make the 11, but I don't know if we feel like we have enough flexibility after that play. It's tough. It looks a little stiff after 8-2, 5-3, something like this. But I really want a board ready, so I'm tempted to go some way that way. Okay, and we see the 13-9 is the maximum flexibility play. I can understand that one. It's going to follow up and make the purest points most often after this roll. So I like that quite a bit. 20-18 a candidate, though. It's just we can kind of see after this play that our points are a little bit stiff and the follow-up could be tough. What is he? I think he played an illegal play again. That's okay. So we play 5-2 and 20-18-2. Okay. Yeah, that's what happened. And we have a 5-6. Maybe that's slightly better equity-wise. I don't think he was trying to do it or anything like that. But I love that, how that just comes up. I don't know. It's like when you're tired and kind of going through long matches, things like that happen all the time. People just misread the board and the dice and all sorts of things. Yeah, the ace feels ready to hit now. It's a bit scary, though. What do we get the most duplication out of? I guess both of them are going to leave a lot of new numbers, so maybe closest to home with both is good. 8-5, a little better. Okay, interesting. Not sure what the value of that is. 3 enters, 5 is going to break to hit. Okay, nice, scary, swinging game for Vincent to be playing here. Julian happy with the volatility. Can't get a cube in on it. But, yeah, which are we going to hit? Are we going to hit the 17 and leave a ton of returns? Or almost, I guess, a lot fewer if we hit 15-12. And at least if we get hit and bored, we don't mind that so much either. Maybe it's more returns the other way. I'm not sure. But I'm tempted by the 15-12 as well. Yeah, very close. Both definitely have their own tactics and merit. We're taking away more race. When our opponent fans, we're going to pick up that checker on the 12 more often when we hit the 17. So reasons for both, clearly. Definitely a good roll, though. He won't throw it back. 6-5 going to fan. And is this enough at this score to send a cube? I think we've got a lot of gammon potential in this one. Yeah, I like it. Oh, it's a monster pass, too. I don't think we missed an opportunity from the bar last time around or anything like that. I think that Vincent's going to find an easy pass at the score, too. But I want to look at that cube real quick, too. Yeah, nothing from the bar. Underdog. And that was just such a big swing on a hit and a pass. Or a hit on a fan. So, yeah, well-found cube action. And we move on to 808, 3 away. Small step in the right direction. For Julian, anyway. For more backgammon. 5-2. This is going to standard split stuff. It's not that strong of a downplay, even when we're adjusting for scores. He should actually have this play that, but 5-2 tends to always be the closest one and the one that we adjust between splitting and playing down the least. 4-1 is going to step up for an anchor. Interesting find there. I'm not sure I would have thought of that one. 13-8, I guess the only other candidate. Okay. 4-2 can just make a board point, or it can make the better anchor. Yeah. Okay. This is a stronger point, so. Yeah, I would have taken that logic to build that one too, but a lot of times offense, if our opponent can't make the 5, maybe there's some duplication. I'm not sure. That's a tricky one there. But okay, can make the anchor and leave a blot on the 7 just fine. See if our opponent wants to leave their anchor just to get to hit. Julian going to slot a pure point, and both of them are going to work on cleaning up, like making points behind their opponent's anchor to prepare for contact now. So the 6 down, I guess we could put it in front with 13-10, but I don't feel like the 6-3 is so deep or impure or anything that we want to avoid that. So both okay. Okay. The deeper we slot in front of the anchor, the more often our opponent can hit and continue to escape with tempo. So the hits get better out on like the 10 and the 11. Yeah, hitting and getting to cover is very strong, of course. 3 is going to enter, no available 4 to hit. So maybe we just pop out here instead of introducing another blot. That seems logical to me. And Julian with an advantage, but playing against an anchor, so not going to have much early game score adjustment in this one. Unless we can pick up that third checker and start giving board problems or something like that. But Vincent's able to solve that and just play around and play a simple 20-point holding game, and this is just going to be like usual backgammon cube action. And he's holding well in the race too, so got decent winning chances here. And an extra point in the 15 for Julian to have to clear too, so contact looking pretty strong. But he can't find a way to play pure and start working on his board. I think the best of this is probably 13 to 7, 8 to 3, but of course we'd rather be focusing on making... well, look at this, making a board point like he did is best by quite a bit. Okay. But of course we'd rather be making the pure points. The contact is a lot weaker when we make the ace and the deuce. We might not be able to win with that. Ooh, a whole point cleared and a board point made for Julian. Very nice. 6-1 finally gets to slot the 5 point. And with 5 checkers on the mid, usually we don't have to cube because we won't lose our market as long as we have that contact. The race is only 11 as well, so even less so. I think he's probably making a score adjustment, and we can see it's pretty close. Okay, not too bad. But we really don't need to adjust for the score too much in holding games like this. And Vincent has taken a second to think about this. I think if he has a count of the race, he'll understand that this should be very takeable. But we'll see what his understanding of match play is, and maybe he thinks he needs to play more conservative in these kinds of games too. No, he finds the take. Good. Okay. Good for him. We'll play this one out. 2-1, going to slot a point, nice and simple. 6-4 is going to make that race pretty close and make the deuce point. And just like a set for Vincent is enough to turn this around and let him sit on a 2 cube and maybe coast to Crawford game. So not too bad to be accepting cubes like this at this score. Feels good. Cover, slot the 4, and maybe another checker into the 5. Looks pretty nice to me. But actually, he's running out of timing, so maybe advancing to the bar point for contact is a little bit better. Yeah, the 20 to 18 looks very good. Yeah, okay. And then 2 on the 7. I like that. All reasonable candidates, but we can do a little bit better. Nice find by Vincent for sure. Blocking the double 6s to resolve the game. 5-3 is just going to bring one down into the 5 point, I think. Oh, it can cover? Sure, just in case there's contact, I guess. That can be fine. 2-6 is going to, yeah, instead of burying checkers and hurting our race, we're going to give up the midpoint. We already see the outfield with the 18. Double 4s is going to mostly decide it. That'll play into the 5. Contact gone. Nice healthy race lead for Julian. But a 6-2 is going to keep it reasonably close. Okay, so the race isn't like dead. 6 is going to come in, and then the 2 probably as well. Oh, it just plays to the 3. Sure. Keep ourselves from having to play too deep later. 9 point cleared successfully for Julian. Unlikely to get any contact, so he'll be running with these 5s for sure. Even though he's still technically 2 pips down in the race. Since his opponent's on roll, it needs to be down 4 to be even. His best equity is with racing for sure. He doesn't want to like crash his board and try to force contact that's not there. He really needs a checker on the 4 point here, I think. I don't think he can afford to play like this. I think he needs to at least 8-4 once, and then can bring some other ones in, but gonna miss that. Okay. Not sure how big that is. We run into the issue, like we want to take some distribution chances with our last couple of checkers bearing in, because 4s can be bad for the rest of the game here. So here, for example, I guess at least we get to play, well, I mean, the 4's coming in. Then do we take the 2 off or fill it in? Not even completely clear with a roll like that, I don't think. Yeah, not too bad to play 6-4 with it. 2 is going to take a checker off and split. So still hanging on to his advantage. And yeah, Vincent is going to have to do quite a bit to get into recube territory. Of course, it's going to be whatever the 8-away, 1-away Crawford match equity would be, which is quite low. But of course, it's not 0. So if he gets down to lost, oh, and he's punished with this double 4s now too. I guess it was only going to take 1 off if he fixed the distribution. But the 4s hurt. He's going to need more sets to get back in this. More different ones. 5-3. Okay, a gap on the 3 as well now, which few checkers on the 6 means that could end up punishing him as well. And Julian's position continuing to look nice and smooth, so bear off looking okay for him. But we both have 7 checkers off, and probably like a lower raw count for Vincent here, so he's got paths to winning this game still for sure. I think it's going to be tough to find a cube, but he could roll sets and do it on the last turn kind of thing. The 3, I think we want to fill in the 3-point. And then the ace I would take off, but this can prevent us from having bad 4s. That could be the idea. Interesting that he's finally ready to solve it now, like this late in the game. But, yeah, I don't know. We might not roll bad 4s anymore if we just roll a 5 or a 6 first, you know? So peeling seems pretty strong there. 6-4 is going to take 2 off. That's a great shot for Julian. Looking likely to get to 6 away, 3 away. A little bit closer. 2 off. And Julian with his first miss, okay, but not likely to have too many more in this game. Should be off in 2 rolls. So Vincent can do it with 2 big sets, or with 1 big set, sorry. 2s are better if he gets the chance. 4-2 will give him a try. And there it is. Wow, okay. He's going to steal that game away and move on to Crawford game. 8 away, 1 away. I think that's going to be down around like 7 or 8%. Pretty low winning chances at this point. But it is an even away Crawford game, which means that Julian should play for gammons because he can get a full game closer to winning, assuming every game is going to be played on a 2 cube for the rest of the match. So yeah, very valuable to make that transition from 7 away to 6 away in this game, since 7 away tends to be 4 games or gammon games, and 6 away is 3 games. So there'd be a huge game. So it's almost, I don't think it's the full like 1 gammon value, but of course gammons are only worth something for Julian and not worth anything for Vincent. So that'll affect the checker plays a little bit. Though it doesn't necessarily make the gammons more valuable for Julian, if that makes sense. More valuable than they would be otherwise. And so, yeah, with the 2-2, when we're like in a gammon savage kind of position, we have to think hard about just making the 20 points. And it is correct here, yeah, to go for that anchor. I think our standard play would usually just be to make the 11 and 4 and play a little offensively. And you can see it's not too far off. But we just solved that whole gammon issue by making the best anchor available on the board, and that's something that we do at these gammon save type plays. Plenty of clock time, it looks like, for both players. Yeah, he's going to make the standard opening. Okay. Tough to fault that, and it's not too far behind. 6 is going to make the anchor, and with a racing lead, maybe he should just clean up the blot, but he's going to play down instead. Okay, that's what the bot likes as well. Maybe I'm thinking normal score or something like this. 6-1 can improve the board again. So contact advantage for Vincent, and a nice racing advantage for Julian. Julian catching up on the board a little bit, makes the 5-point just in time for these double 4s. Can't move the checker on the 11 either. It's frozen. So he's going to give up the midpoint. This is the best we can do with it. Interesting. Maybe playing to the ace and in or something like that could be a play too to keep the midpoint. I don't know. I would have thought about that for a while. Like this 13-1-8-4 play makes a lot of sense to me. 4-1. Are we ready to hit? I think so. We're going to send a third checker back and he's going to have no outfield presence. Sure, aces and deuces hurt a little bit from the bar, but I think we got to go for it. Making the bar point pretty strong candidate too, though. Okay. Wow, these run a lot closer than I would have thought. It just feels like I can see such a clear positional advantage or what we're going for after 18-14. Where this quiet play just feels like, I guess I'm going for the same thing and I don't give up the immediate shot. Very interesting. Okay, so he's going to hop out. He knows he needs to get the back checkers moving. Well, he has the better board. Good find there. 6-5 would have been Fannin, by the way. Ace is going to hit and continue. No need to leave the 6s from the bar. Ace-5 enters and is going to have to play behind 8-3. And Vincent looking to get off that 24 point as soon as possible. 6-3 can't prevent it. What can it do? This is not a great roll. It could just give up the bar point contact and try to cover the outfield most efficiently. I think that's what I'd end up finding. Why do we need to play so stiff? Yeah. Making the 2-point is just too deep when we're trying to work on a priming game plan. So yeah, he finds this. Very nice play. Covers the outfield beautifully, leaves fly shots that'll get returns and board anyway. So I think the ace is splitting the 3 covering just to be ready to hit those fly shots. I like it. And Julian looking to make the bar point, gets to. I don't think he wants to switch to attack even with the stack on the 6 and the 5. I think just limiting mobility for a roll even is pretty important here. 6-3 gets to try to run though. 24 out to the 15. He's going to pause and think about the 6 again, but why not hop out? Very interesting. Okay. He's right with this too. Wow. I would not have found that. I'm not sure. I mean, it's a double shot and all, I get it, but still, I want to preserve my front position. I guess he just has enough time to do that is what the bot is telling us. 5 is going to come in. Does it help at all to step up with the ace? And I don't know, but he goes for it. He's going to get attacked more, but might have a chance to get anchored high when things go poorly now. Okay, but this would have been a more difficult role to navigate, I guess, had he stayed back one. 6-4 gets to run one. Down in the race, I think that's still better than staying back and maybe getting closed out and gammon. But not much gammon threat here with how much Vincent has moved around the board on the other side. So that single checker not under too much pressure. I don't know the best way to play this 5-2. Yeah, just hold everything in front and create blots behind. Also tempting to attack. 7-5, 6-1 is what he finds, I do believe. Yeah. And 4-2. I think we want to keep spending checkers well outside. I guess we could just play 11-5 though and keep our 8-point as a priming point, but he's going to bring 2 in instead, which also happens to waste a pip, so that wasn't my favorite play for that reason. 6-2 doesn't work. It opens up and leaves a chance to escape. So this is kind of the problem with last roll, I think. I think clearing the 8 here does seem like the best of it. But our opponent has a chance to roll 5 and have a pretty even game to maybe win the match. 2-1, I think we're preparing for contact now and making a board point, not worried about those gammons almost at all. Double 5s can clear for a winning race. But I think it'll be possible for Vincent to spend a little time waiting for his shot. It looks very flexible for Julian, so maybe it's not worth it, but it obviously doesn't have much racing chances now at this point. So I think I would stay, but it's pretty close just to make sure we save the gammon. Understandable if he makes that play and just decides to lock up the single loss and shoot for some sort of big set. But it's only 0.5% of the time that we lose a gammon anyway, huh? So I guess it's also maximizing racing equity in some way. But, okay. 4-2. Could have made this roll more awkward, I think. 1-1 is going to get a crossover. Okay. So it's looking likely we're going to go to 7 away, 1 away post Crawford. So it'll be the free take kind of score where Vincent just can't afford to let a game go, you know, unless there's a huge threat of gammons there. Doesn't save a lot by passing. Does he play 2 5s here? Yeah, he did. Whatever. We'll just skip the illegal move with that one. 5-4. Six, 6. Okay, catch him back up. 5-3. And I think there's still a little bit of time to roll some big sets for Vincent here, but getting grim. Looking like they'll be moving on to post Crawford. 6-5, okay. And 5-4, that was a nice one to avoid any misses for Julian. 6-5, going to take 2 off, okay. And looking for a couple sets, it looks like. Aces isn't going to be enough. So he's going to go ahead and resign that one. And we'll move on to post Crawford. Seven away, 1 away. I think this is like 9 point something percent winning chances for Julian. Some of these ones we tend to memorize or are easier for me to remember just because like the take pass decision can be the difference between playing from Crawford or not. And those are reasonably easy to get like some frame of reference for what sort of winning chances we need. But I'm not much of a take point measure or match equity memorizer other than that. 4-2 going to make a point to start. 4-4 gets to anchor up. Beautiful shot and make the 9. We'll see if Julian wants to play the trick. Yeah, so you can optionally wait to double because he's almost never going to lose his market. Nothing that's going to make this not takeable for Vincent, so we can just wait and give him a more difficult decision later. But of course, it's always not going to lose any equity to just send it now. So the optional automatic redouble in play at all points. And conceptually, it can be difficult for people to grasp, I guess. But the only way that equity can be gained or lost when we play this, when we wait on the cube, is if our opponent may pass at some point. If they may pass, then one of us is likely losing equity from not having sent the cube earlier, or from from them taking when it does. I mean, that's, I guess if they, either from not having sent it earlier before they could pass, or because they still had winning chances. 6-4 plays down. But so if you take all the time, it will always transpose, which is an easy adjustment for dealing with this idea of the trick instead of learning about when you should take. But you can also prepare and know how to gain equity if you do get into that sort of situation. Potentially. Four, 6. What is this going to do? Okay, so only down 3 pips in the race. I don't think he's forced to go yet. But maybe we should just give up our midpoint at this point. I don't know if we want to do ugly things for the race. Yeah. Plays 2 off the 8. Okay, fine alternative there. But we could roll like 6 ones or, I don't know, certain ones later that make it difficult to clear. 4-1 is happy to just play down to the 8 points, sure. Could also cover behind, but then we're getting a little awkward with distribution. 4-2, now he's ready to release it instead of making big racing distribution problems. 6-6 is going to nearly decide the game, but we're into that interesting spot where I think even though he's got a 26 pip lead, that this is still technically going to be a take in almost all iterations for Vincent, especially after rolling these 11 pips. But we'll see if Julian decides it's time to get that cube in, because another double 6s could lose his market. But again, it's weird. I guess like the human element in these kinds of games, it feels good to claim the point and not have to earn it and survive with the dice. So I don't actually mind losing my market in a lot of ways here. All it earns my opponent is a free drop, you know? So I don't know. It's probably like mathematically incorrect, but I do think that way over the board a little bit. I like running the trick and maybe getting away with it that way. 6 and 5 in. Okay, we're going to get the double take. I don't know how he played this roll. 6 and 5. There we go. And then we have double ones. Okay. And so, yeah, being well ahead in the race, he's just going to clear as much as he can. Instead of stacking up the 7 that he wants to clear, he's just going to bring checkers home and keep both points. 4-3 we can look at that cube action too. It's still a monster take, even though he's like past the pass borderline for money. 4 is going to come in and cover the point. Okay, doesn't mind having to run with the 6 if it happens. Huge racing roll for Julian here, so all but locking this game up. Contact looking pretty grim for Vincent. 6-3 going to be forced to run at least 1. If he just comes around the bend, he can't really lose gammons anyway, so sure, why not stay for some contact? I think that seems reasonable. 1-3 is just going to take a checker off and slap the ace, I think. Yep. So it's not going to be too tempting to hit and continue because there's not enough gammons in it, and the contact can be bad and lose the game. We could just make the ace point in preparation for the contact. I don't think we're really risking gammons yet. Kind of like that play, but he's supposed to just run now. Okay. Yeah, I like his idea. But I guess there is a little bit of threat creeping in as Julian starts to take checkers off, and it gets less likely that he leaves a shot anyway. 5s, yeah, it was kind of bad for the race too, so now we would have been more in the game after this double 5s, I guess. if we hadn't wasted all these pips to the ace. Not necessarily going to be bad for the race, but it's not good for it ever either. 5-1 takes 2 off as a result instead, though. So probably going to transpose in a game like this. 4-2 takes 2 off. And Vincent still needs another set. Ooh, that's part of it. Maybe a bigger one than that, but he wouldn't throw it back. He's getting close. He's in striking distance on just rolling better, though, now. But 6-3 is going to fend that idea off to some degree. 4 off 6-3 to fill in the gap. And another close race for his life, Julian here. 6-5, finds a missing 5, which does cost him a roll there. That was important. Aces can take 2 off. And then I don't know what the last one is. Maybe, do we really need a set here? Can our opponent miss? If we really need a set 5-4, I guess I don't see any problem with that either way. I don't know. 5-4 just seems like the idea. Kind of regardless. I don't want to make a gap anywhere else. I don't know why I want to stack a different point. You know, can keep all my numbers playing. These are so weird, just like strange, complicated decisions. Like, why on earth would this make any difference? You know, and we can think about it all day and come up with like lots of different. Well, if I roll this number and that number, I guess his 2s fill in the 2 gap now, which is a little better than what aces do otherwise. So there's a little bit of vig there. It's a reasonable consideration, but it's so hard to know what's more important. And he doesn't, in the end, go with the best play there. Nice find. And 5-3 going to take 2 off. Okay. Still needs a set to catch up. Vincent does. To steal this post-Crawford game away and win the match right now. Ooh, double aces would have all but decided it. That would have been a big roll. But no dice on checker here. Vincent needs a big set, no less. Okay, he's going to be able to play for 5s or better. That's going to be his only chance. 6-5 to make sure that extra set works. 6-5 is going to give him the chance. 2 rolls out of 36 to end the match. Otherwise, we're moving on to 5 away, 1 away post Crawford. There we go. All right, we're up in like post Crawford. I don't know what the number is. 5 away, 1 away Crawford is like 16, 17%. So it must be higher post Crawford. He's got some like decent winning chances at this point. I think it looks like he's still just under 20 from the match progression graph that I'm looking at. I could also look at the match equity table here. 19% he's got. Yeah. He's in it. 1 out of 5 happens all the time, right? 4-3 is going to split in response. He's going to pause to think about it, though. Wow, 2 down? Oh, man, I didn't know that this was the kind of idea that we play at gammon go-ish type scores. That's very interesting. I would have thought we still wanted to split there, but okay. And after a down play, Vincent is happy to just slot. Interesting, instead of splitting. That's very close. Gives him quite the decision here. 3-1, he's going to go for the hit instead of letting his opponent just make a better board and the rack and all these things. 5-3. Oof. What else can we do other than like break the 8 to hit here now? It's not the thing we want to do at the score, but everything just looks way too passive with like how much Julian's about to do with his position next roll. And we have the better board. Oh, he's going to go for the ace hit. Interesting variant. Yeah, he doesn't want to have to break the 8, but it's worse to allow your opponent to still make the anchor and play so deep. Yeah. We'll see what he comes up with. I think he's going to realize that it's just too urgent to not break the 8. Yep, and he does find the best play, goes for that loose hit. And that's going to draw the cube, which maybe there's some market loss. I don't know if he needed to send it there or not. But again, at post Crawford, you know, never an error to send it for sure. And he gets worried that this exchange could be too much to take. I'll have to check that out to see if it was technically important. Yeah, like here, I think he probably still has a take, but it's getting sketchy. Yeah, so XG favored a double by 0.003. Thought there was enough swing on that one and some market losing potential. So you didn't want to give it up. Oh, he's going to go for the loose hit instead of making a board point with his opponent in the air. I think there's some logic to that. 6 down, 5 hits loose and puts 2 up. Okay. Like at 5-3 is going to hit back though. Okay. Big step for Vincent to get back on the board. Otherwise, he could be losing a lot of gammons to go to DMP here. 5-4. The anchor not so important against only 6 in the zone. So what else can we do to buy ourselves some time with all these blots around? There's just no way to link them up. Ugh. I guess just a loose hit for tempo? Yeah, I mean, this seems reasonable to me. I'm not sure what to do with that position, though. That's a tough one. The 7-3 a little bit better. Anchoring's okay, too. Okay, they're all very close. Why not make a loose hit with 2 anchors now? I think Vincent's path is pretty clear. He just wants to play pure and make nice points and maybe play a back game. Of course, not what you want to do when gammons are one way like this, but what can you do? And can't enter on the 4, so not going to be able to cover the 5, so the best he's got is to just prevent his opponent from making this the rack. Send him back. Does he want to enter on the ace and hit? This looks like too bad of distribution. Maybe I'd just make another point, but okay. Doesn't want his opponent to make such a... Yeah, that's probably more important. Gets a fan out of it, too. Okay, that's pretty huge. And now Vincent with the initiative here with a slightly better board. Has a lot of work to do to come around the board there. Yeah, just going to move some back checkers. Why? I'm surprised the 4 wouldn't hit. Yeah. I mean, the ace off the 24 seems mandatory. But okay. Yeah, there we go. I don't think when you have so many checkers back again and just against 8 in the zone after the hit, it doesn't seem so important to have an anchor right now. But maybe the score can be a little bit different there. Okay, the 3 can hit and the 2 can hit, so he's going to put 2 more in the air. Okay. Trying to close him out for the match win. Ace Deuce is going to give Julian life until the end with that 24 point established. Huge step for him. 5-4, but the timing's not right for either of them to wait around for that kind of game. So they're looking to come off it somehow. 5-4, I think, can establish the 20, and then does it want to make the 18 with it? I guess what better is there? But, I mean, you don't really like to have those together, so we'll be looking to give 1 up. Restricts movement quite a bit here, so I think the 6 is just going to hop out. Why not? I like that play. Seems nice and positional, trying to move the checkers that want to get going. Don't want the 3rd checker on the 24 point. It's just very wasted. Still can't cover. Maybe I think with the slot that he should want to make the 11. And I don't mind something like 18 to 13 along with that. Seems to see the most board, but we want to still focus on maybe getting to fight for that 5 point. And I don't think that 11 to 6 is the best way to do that. So we could play that way and just hit loose as well and just focus on a different, less pure point. Fine option, like right behind that. 4-3 is going to hit, ruin that plan. And then I guess probably link up with the bar point. Why not? Now we have advanced defensive anchor of our own. And this game is going to be difficult. Nice and complicated. I think plenty of time on the clock to navigate it. But I guess relatively simple in that the race is close enough that they both just need to make progress forward. So neither of them is going to camp back on the 24 or anything like this. But it just gets confusing when there's so many checkers back. And so I think Vincent seems to see the theme of this position pretty naturally, that he's just looking for mobility, moving checkers around the board, making sure he doesn't have to start to like crunch or anything like that. 3s here. We can't do anything about the 24 point. We could make the 3 point. I think we should do that. Yeah. Catches him that way. 24 to 18 is a nice play if he allows it. But yeah, I think this and just maybe running from the back seems fine. 23 to 17 kind of stuff. 18 to 15 is a little better though. Okay. Maybe that does preserve more mobility. I can see that. We're looking to clear one of those midpoints soon. We're just more locked up. 13 to 10 with it is an option too. Okay, they're all very close. And so a board advantage for Julian as well. That could be important in this game when the contact comes. Let's see. I guess Vincent has to leave a shot somewhere. Where does he want to? In front of the bar point, he decides. Okay, I'm really not sure. That one's tough. I don't see a strong, compelling reason for any of them. But I guess maybe he's going to... I'm not sure. 2-4 is going to run up to the bar point. I like that play. Focusing on mobility again. 4-1 could make the 9 points. Or it could step up to the 20. Yeah, this is probably better than the ace ahead. I'm not sure. I don't see enough value in the 9 point, leaving a direct shot from the bar anyway. But it's something that we could do. Oh, just clean up is a little bit stronger. Okay, okay. 6-1 can just link up a little more. Okay. Could make the 17 again, but that would just create another point to break, I think is the idea there. But it looks like maybe that was better. Oh, 23 to 16 could have hit. Yeah, he just misses that somehow. Okay. So I think we're seeing Julian just like not seeing the checkers and the dice right a couple times in this match here. 5-3 is going to go for an attack. What else did he have? I don't know, but I mean, this structure, of course, looks very ugly. 18, so yeah, so he's all ready to give up one of these crunched up points. He's just got like too many linked up here. This 20, 18, and 16 together aren't doing enough like unique work. And so you often tend to need to release one of them when you establish a bunch of them all at once for timing instead. Ooh, 4-3 hits indirect. Very nice shot. Catches that one. 4-3 is going to fan. Okay, there's some gammons in this position. Looks very strange though. Of course, he's going to have an awkward ride home, I think. Oh, is this? I don't know if that 5 is clear. The 4 maybe so that the 5 can clean up 10 to 6. Yeah, that seems like the natural play. 2-6 enters this time. What can the 6 do? I think releasing the 18 is just a little bit better here. But 16 to 10, okay. I feel like strategically it would be. Maybe there's some tactics that actually make this one a little bit better. I don't know. I feel like we see the most board the other way. 2-2 can link up. How else do we reduce contact? Probably advancing 18 to 16. Still trying to cash in on our winning race. Oh, we miss an opportunity to switch though while there's blots around. I bet that's what was the preferred play. Yeah, the 4-2. Those can be hard to see, that we can do things behind the anchor, you know, with those low sets. I think that gets missed a lot. Vincent's so far down in the race. He's ready to clean up. Yeah, that could be right to avoid getting switched on, but I'm not sure. The contact seems worth something here. Yeah, you should just make this 7 point. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. 5-3 must have to clear something, and we're going to go from the back. As promised, very complicated game. All kinds of weird decisions in it. Ace is going to hit and then continue to cover with the 6. Okay, some winning chances now. But Julian going to reply with his ace of his own to send a 4th or 6th checker back, depending how you look at it. So now there's some real gammon threat in this position, too. We could get back to an even match very quickly here. Hits another checker. Okay. The 3, I think, has to break the 14 for lack of options. And your opponent has 2 on the roof, so what better time to do it? But he would love to bring a checker into range of attacking if his opponent ends receive. Oh, does 5-5 hit anywhere? Wow. That's a big roll, of course, either way. But I think we end up just taking pressure. Ooh, do we clear the 18 or the 13? Maybe we want to keep all the pressure on the 2 blots and we still see the blot on the 11. So I think maybe we need to... My instinct is 18 to 13. Yeah, but he finds 13 to 8 instead. And I think that just feels like you want to keep more points back. I don't know. It's like natural to think that you want to keep the 18 instead. That your opponent's just going to run by that. Oh, what did he have here? I missed the roll. 4-3 and then a 3-3. So it was actually was it like a 3-3? 6-3, something like this. I don't know. Oh, I lost it. Oh no. Did he play illegally again? Somehow, maybe not. Probably not. I think the 3-3, we'll figure this out. So we might have the transcription a little bit off here, but my bad. 2-1 goes there. 4-4 is gonna hop out. Okay, okay. I think I have the position right somehow. I don't know if I got the rolls right. Apologies for any transcription errors to people watching this afterward. Of course, they all want to know how they played the match, you know. I got to keep up somehow, though. 3-1 is going to advance twice and see that open 5 point. Okay, so the contact's shaking out nicely for Vincent here. Though the 10 point should be reasonably easy to clear with 3 landing points there and a lot of time to do it. 5s is a little too fast. Yeah, he's going to have to release the 18 now. Okay. And gets to... How did he get to slot? Maybe I had something wrong there too. Whatever. Okay. I don't know if they're just missing stuff or am I missing stuff. But I'm going to do my best. 6-1. Well, it couldn't cover anyway, so nearly transposes. I can make it play like a 6-2. There we go. And 4-4, okay, is going to do a whole bunch of clearing work. Nice shot for Julian. 6-3 is going to hop out and make the 5 point. Very nice. 5-1 can make 2 board points, but the aces are not what he's looking for. The ace-6 and 3-6 are the big problems. Otherwise, Julian should be able to coast on to a 2-point win to get to 3-way one-way Crawford. And Vincent done a nice job. Oh, there's the 6-1, though. Vincent's done a nice job of not losing a gammon in this position, too. There was serious threat of it for a while. And the 5-3 is going to miss. Okay. Gets to make the complete board, though. And 6s is going to clear all the contact. So now Vincent's got to make sure he saves the gammon. There's a few, like, running gammons here. Not too many, but it can happen. 4 out, 2 in. Okay, okay. 4-2. I wonder... I'm trying to keep up the transcription. Otherwise, I'd try to estimate it somehow. But it looks like a 5-3 is enough to save it most of the time. And a 5-2 is going to get at least 1 crossover. Yeah, so pretty low on the gammons. 3.6% of the time. Ace-6, so still 2 rolls away, so that's all gonna all but lock it up. 4-1 only gets 1 crossover though. So 4 in, 1 up. Okay. 4-3 gonna take 2 off. So needs a miss and a set. 6-4, no such luck. Gonna resign a single game. And on we go to 3-away, 1-away Crawford. Which should have Julian's winning chances above like 25% now. Consult the match equity table real quick. Yeah, 32.26. So it's like just a 2-to-1 dog now. He's doing very well. I think the idea there is that he can win a single game and get to 50-50 a lot, and then some percentage of the time he's going to win a gammon for the match, which is maybe like a third of games or something like that. I don't know. From the starting position. That's probably like a dramatic overstatement. But yeah, something like that. Sometimes he wins immediately. 5-1 doesn't slot. That's interesting. I feel like that would be the favorite aggressive play at the score. His opponent is just going to split in response. Let's see if he wants to keep running the trick with the cube. No, he decides his opponent knows to take, so he's just going to get it in time. And maybe some clock issues that are going to like worry him about forgetting about it or something like that. 5-1 is going to come down and step up. 3 5-1s in a row always makes for like really awkward openings. Oh, there's a 4th. Okay, okay. I think same. Oh, he's going to go for a hit this time. Interesting. Yeah, and he's got the right idea. That's surprising to me. Okay, good find. 2-2 is going to enter, hit, and make the 4 points. So gammon on in this position. Definitely possible for Julian to win the match on this one. 5-3 gets to make an anchor and ruin a lot of those hopes. I think it should come in on the 22 like that. Yeah, the prudent play at the score for sure, if not just for money anyway. 5-3 must want to run from the back somehow with a big racing advantage before position deteriorates more. So 23-15, yeah, looks very nice. Ooh, double 3s is a big swing back. That can point on head and hit. Beautiful shot. And we'd love to make the 5 somehow. I don't know what else we can do other than play 13-10 again. But he's going to, oh, okay, 10-7 to keep the point. Interesting. Maybe he's supposed to make the 5 or something there too. Is another way that play can go. 2-5 is nice to enter 2. Let's see how he follows up. 3-1 is going to make a point. That's a beautiful shot for sure. And 6-1 hits back. Okay. Julian back in the gammon hunt. And the win hunt for that matter. 4-1 is going to enter. And what can the 4 do? He's got 2 anchors now, so I guess he can just slot if he wants to. Back to that 3-3, yeah. So he should avoid the second blot entirely. Very interesting. What does he come up with the 4? Oh, he steps up. Steps into this 3-3 that attacks now. And this was the best play. Okay. But he's being punished for it for sure. And okay, he's going to come to the 10 and in with the 5. 2-6 is going to enter. And is it worth hitting loose here for the tempo? I'm not sure about that, but that's what he's going to go for. 3-1 misses. Can't clean up blots either, so I think just stepping up to link those back checkers seems nice. 5-2 tempo hit, though. Okay, I didn't even see that. That is worth it with the blot on board and all the shots we're leaving anyway. And he's going to rethink and come back to this. Okay, nice find, Julian. And 3-3 is going to do a lot of work. That's going to cover and hit and enter. Yep. All 4 threes accounted for. 1-5 enters. And can it go for a tempo hit again here? Well, he's just going to play 13-8 without thinking about it this time. Yeah, against the better board, I guess that makes a lot of sense too. But no, a little bit better to go for that. 5-4, introduce more gammons. Yeah, there's so many blots to clean up that it was very tempting. Maybe probably only like permissible at this one-way gammons kind of score. 4 can cover, but then the ace is a problem. So maybe we just hit with the ace and come in with the 4. Yeah, I like this play. Take a tempo away again, looking to buy some time to escape that 24 point. Vincent gonna shoot right back. Maybe make the 8 point is good, even though it doesn't communicate with the deuce. At least there's not blots around. But it's a compelling option to step up to the 22 as well. So there were choices there. 4 and 6-5 seems great. We definitely don't want to enter deep there. Ooh, 4s gets the point on head and make the bar point and escape the structure. This is a huge shot for Vincent. Huge favorite in this match now. And ace-3, I don't even know if you want to do enter exactly. But maybe the tempo hit is good because he's going to have to break a point so often. I like this 4 to ace hit. 3-3, okay, yeah. So he doesn't get to play this like to smoothly make the 6 prime instead. Has to leave a shot out in the outfield. I think I like his play best. Let our opponent give up the midpoint, and we'll have shots from the bar point when they do hit. And we don't want to leave it like as a direct shot from the 24 point, anything like this. Okay, weak follow-up for, yeah, I think he can just go for this, right? He plays it as a 5-2, unless I have the distribution wrong, so I'm going to do that. And gets a fan, okay. Maybe I'm entering wrong. Dice rolls the wrong way. You guys can let me know. I think a 5-2 is interesting. I think I was hitting with the 5-3 anyway. But yeah, it seems pretty clear if you can make the point on head instead that you're going to do that. So ace hits, 3 comes off the 18 and hits. And a fan. And a 6-5. Okay, so Vincent in the driver's seat on this one again. Of course, if Julian can hang back on the ace point, like there's always wins from there when he hasn't like made his structure impure. But I mean, probably below 20% at this point. It's looking pretty strong for Vincent to be your one advancing here. There is always this VIG2 of like entering too quickly and having to deteriorate our board. Yeah, so he's up above 80 there as we can see. And just wants to spread out to make that bar point. However, we can give the most spares to do that. I think that makes sense. Aces is gonna, yep, just break the 8 point for distribution. Get ready to make lower points. 2-1 cannot make the bar point. So we're looking to clean some things up here. Maybe the best way to do that is something like 11 to 10 and then 8 to 6 in. Yeah, I like that idea. And it leaves double 6s, but has good coverage on all the other 6s that hop out to try to keep our opponent behind the structure. Better just get closer to home though. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think I would have found his play too. Not a big difference. 6-4, so going to hop out into direct range. And I'm not even sure if Vincent wants to hit if he rolls a 2. I think he's happy to just kind of move past without more contact. And I think the 6-5 feels a little bit better here, but that I guess leaves double 6s as a shot. So maybe we should keep the distribution the way it is. 5-2 can make the bar point. Nice shot for Julian. His front structure is ready. If he can keep rolling 6s and mobilizing checkers from the 24 without breaking his position, he'll be doing great here. 6-2. Yeah, this is a little bit awkward, but no need to leave shots over it. So I guess we're just going to play to the deuce. Double aces. Okay, not cracking yet, but needs a 6 to hop out. And 6-5 is going to clear safely for Vincent. Very nice shot for him. 2-1, I think. Yeah, maybe we could just bring 2 in there, but play 7-4 instead. I'm not sure. 3s can clear from the rear. Maybe keeping some priming values okay, since 5s can be not so good for our opponent. Maybe that's why he played it the way he did too, to keep 5s good. Looking for a 4-up. 4-2 is not a shot lever. 6-4 and 5-4 were our numbers. And does he want to... He wants to even out and risk the double shot with 6-4 and 5-4. Interesting. Maybe it looks like he's supposed to account for that and make sure he only leaves a single at worst. But now he's got 4 out of 36 disaster rolls. 5-1 is not one of them, though. That's going to clear safely. Still looking to be in the driver's seat. And a 3-2 can take at least one off. Does it help reduce shots to clear from the rear? I'm not sure there. Maybe 2 off is fine again. But I think he's doing fine. 5-3, mobilize another checker. Sounds great. And 6-2 gets to clear safely. He's glad he took an extra checker off the back now. And just shy of a miracle needed for Julian to win this one at this point. I guess he doesn't have that many checkers off. Okay, the 4s is going to nearly end it. So now Julian needs to hop off the 24 and create bad aces for Vincent, which he'll do with this 3-2. Yeah, he can slot the back of the prime too. I like that idea. Doesn't care about losing gammons or backgammons. No ace yet. And even if he gets it, he's going to have a lot to do with so many checkers off. 12 checkers off there. This covers the bar. Okay, so he's ready. That's the good news. And the 4s is the bad news. Okay, Vincent is going to win that match. Well played by both of them. And really exciting stuff. So that's the 4th round. That's going to send Vincent on in the undefeated bracket. And Julian will still be alive in the second chance bracket. You can check those all out. I'll come over to this to recap a little bit too. But that one was a wild ride of a match for sure. If we look at that match progression, Julian was getting right back in that for quite a bit of it, right? He worked his way all the way up to almost 50-50 in this match again. Never really peaked at almost like 60% chances to win. But, you know, was dead, climbed the hill all the way back up to even money, and just this last game was too much for him. But yeah, when he had those gammon threats to like take the game out, that was almost enough to make him even money in this game. Super crazy stuff. I had a lot of fun watching and commentating that one. If we go take a look at the brackets, I don't think they're going to be updated with results from this round yet, but you can see who else was playing this round and might be up next. So yeah, this is our side of the bracket here. So the winner of that match was Vincent. He's going to go on to play the winner of... Oh no, Vincent and Nardi was one. So that's actually over here. So the brackets are a couple rounds behind. They tend to take a while to get updated. Oh, I haven't refreshed it. That's probably my fault. Yeah, there we go. So the winner of that is going to play the winner of this match down here. I'm not familiar with this Swedish player, or I don't know what flag this is. This is a cool flag. Maybe this is Gibraltar. Who else do we have creeping up on the end of the bracket? Oh, Mark Farron. I think he's an Austin guy. I've met him a couple of times, but cool to see him advancing so deep in the bracket there for sure. Volker Sonnebend from the German team. Strong name for sure. Lots of people live still. Okay, Tenlin might be advancing through the undefeated bracket here too. But yeah, you can go leaderboard and check all this out too. I guess we saw Gaz making his way on the undefeated side too. And of course, tons of action going on in the second chance bracket here. So much more play once you lose a match there. But okay, this will wrap up the first stream of the day. I'll be back in about an hour and a half. Call it an hour till the stream's up. With the next match, we'll figure out, who else we're going to pair up there in the undefeated bracket. We got a lot of potential good matches coming up. But yeah, we'll be back soon with more backgammon for the day. All right. I'll send you back to the promo videos and everything like that. And then I'll be back soon. Bye, everybody.